live. It is Friday night. We are live. How's it going? I'm gonna wait until we get some people in the room. Got a pretty cool tool to give away tonight. What did I do with it? Damn, there it is right there. The thing just went out to notify everybody that we're live. Give it a little bit. I got some pressed coffee going here. Been a crazy day. I'm surprised I'm on time tonight. So we'll wait for some people to come into the room, and then we'll get to yakking away, talking about stuff. I just went over to town close to our house. Went over to Costco and did some running around today. Hey, welcome to live. We're going to give away tools tonight. It's tool time, baby. We found a pretty cool tool to give away tonight. Got a good deal on it, and our super thanks for you that are coming into the room. The super thanks. Hey, Motor in USA. I'm trying to remember. You won last week, right? Yeah, your package went out in the mail on Wednesday, I believe. So you should be getting it any time. I was a day late. I thought I would be. I was trying. Got a cool tool to give away tonight. I found a pretty cool tool. Actually, I bought 3 of them. So we'll be able to give one away for the next 3 weeks. If you want to see what it is, there's a link. Did I put the link on here? Yeah. You see the link where it says tonight's tool? You can click on that and it'll show you what tool we're going to give away tonight. And then it's also up here on the screen. It's up there too. I'm just waiting around. Hey, I'm going to say this a couple times, so I feel like I'm repeating myself. I'm trying to catch people as they're coming into the room. No, I just missed it. Okay, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, I think Buzz wanted her. No, Buzz got artwork. That's right. Yep, Buzz got artwork. Well, you know what? We got a cool tool tonight, man. I might even keep one for myself. I bought 3 of them. So as you guys are coming in the room, we're giving away a tool tonight. We're going to do some trivia. And what we're going to do tonight, whoever's here at the end, when we, at the end of the live, we're going to give away a really cool tool. If you want to know what the tool is, go click up here. It's in the description under light. And then there's a where it says tonight's tool in the comments. If you click on that, you can see what we're going to give away tonight. And we're going to do some trivia. We do this every Friday night. We do trivia. And at the end of the live, we give away a free tool. So if you win the random drawing tonight, you'll get a free tool shipped to you free of charge within the United States. We just gave away some artwork last week. And we gave a snap-on wrench away. And if you want to see what tonight's tool is, right here is a link. It'll show you the tool, and there's also a link in the comments. So I got some pressed coffee, man. You guys ever had pressed coffee? I freaking love it, man. It's my favorite way to drink coffee. And I can make just enough. Oh, I'm better just on this table pretty soon. It's been a crazy day. I just got back from shopping. Man, you ever had your old lady make you chase her around in Costco? I feel like I walked 3 miles in Costco today. I don't mind doing it, but man, I'm not much of a shopper. I don't like going shopping, but I did it. All right, got my pressed coffee ready. I got questions ready. Like I said, can you pray for me? There's somebody might. I just missed it. Go dog. So anyway, I did my own questions tonight, so it'll be kind of fun. And what I'm going to do with the questions tonight, we'll teach as we go. We have a cool tool, and we'll just wait around. Somebody said something, pulled it back. I'm not sure what that was. So we'll wait around. We get enough people into the room. The people that are here, if you would just drop in the comments, what you drive or what you ride or where you're from, or just leave a little comment of some kind so we know who's in it to win it. It's tool time, baby. I got some cool tools to give away. I went today and bought tools for the giveaways. I got some pretty cool tools. One of them I'm going to keep. I like it so much. Anyway, we'll get started here soon. Somebody's going to win a cool tool tonight. So whoever's still here. Hey, if you guys hear me repeat this, it's because I see people come into the room. So we'll get a bunch of people, like it'll change like the 20, 30. So I kind of repeat it so people know what we're doing. Anyway, I haven't seen Maggot for a few days. Hope he's all right. Haven't heard from him. He's probably just been busy taking naps or something. Mod tonight, trolls. Yeah, I know. You want to do that? Hey, for you that just dropped in, we're giving away a tool tonight. We're going to do questions, and then whoever's left at the end of the live, we're going to spin for a tool. And then at the end of the live, after the hour, we're going to do question and answers and try to answer questions about cars. What's up, Luca Fernandez? Welcome to the live, man. So what we're doing tonight, I'm going to repeat myself a couple times because people are coming into the room. What we're going to do tonight, we're going to do trivia questions, automotive trivia questions. And at the end of the live, whoever's still here are going to have a chance to win a really cool tool. The tool is listed in the comments and it's listed up here. And it's also in the description under headlamp, I think. So if you want to go look at it, go check it out, man. Actually, we got a really good deal on them. I looked them up on Amazon and they're like $50. And I got a really good deal on 3 of them today. What type of tool? Hey, Sam, if you go right here, and I can just show it to you, but I like to get people to look at the link if I can. If you go right here, it'll show you the tool. And then also in the comments, there's a comment that says tonight's tool, and the link is right there for it. And then also in the description. If you guys go look at the descriptions tonight, I put some tools in there that I thought are a good bargain. If you're looking for a Christmas present or something, you know, there's a really good deal on a Craftsman tool set for like $69. They're on sale right now. Go check it out. If you have a young man coming up that doesn't have any tools, it'd be a good starter kit. Anyhow, if you guys would go check that out. Do you guys want to get started with the questions, or what do you want to do? Let's see who's all, and would be happy to help you. All right, man. Hey, Morgan, we'll put you as a mod right now. I appreciate you doing that. For sure, man. It helps me out a lot. Well, let's see. How do I do that? Hang on. Give me a second. We're going to have a moderator here. It's always nice. It's always nice to have a moderator. I don't see the moderation thing, though. I don't know what's going on with that, man. I don't see how to make you a moderator for some reason. Give me just a minute, guys. We'll get started here. There's usually just a little thing there, but you know, I don't see it on here. I don't see it on the StreamYard part. I might have to log in with my phone. Give me a second. We'll log in and we'll make a moderator here. Hey, let's see how it goes. We start having issues, man. I don't want to tie anybody up because people start bailing on you fast. Hey, give me just a minute. I'm going to log in so I can create a moderator. I don't know why I don't see that on the, it's got to be right here, man. I'm sure there is a place, but you'd be dang if I could see it. Give me a second. I'm just going to log in so I can make a moderator. Hang on, guys. I'm going to get going. I just want to, I don't know why I can't. Why it's not letting me in. Give me just a minute. That might be it right there. Anyway, for some reason, I can't get in, man, to set you as a moderator. I thought I just clicked on your name, but it's not letting me do that. All right. See, we lost a bunch of people by messing around. That's all right. It'll make it easier for you guys to win. Anyway, we'll get started with the questions, huh? How's everybody doing? Wilt. I remember you, Wilt. I wrote your name down, actually. I'm going to write it down again because I'm starting a list of guys that want to be part of the program here. It's nice to have people in here that got some experience. Hey, Ralph Hernandez, you work at Courtesy Chevrolet? Where at? What Courtesy? At one town at? What town are you at for Courtesy? Hey, Wilt, I'm going to write you down again. I haven't forgot. I'm just trying to keep a list of all the guys that got some experience. Ralph Hernandez, you want to jump in and be like one of the guys that go to you guys for questions and answers? Because we're going to start doing that where we're trying to fix people's cars on the lives. You're in Phoenix. My daughter's in Arizona. She lives in Kingman. So some of these questions might be real easy for you. And I try to make them a little simpler because we're trying to let everyone be able to. It doesn't matter tonight what I decided. Whoever sticks around till the end, they're going to be part of winning the tool. If you're here at the end, you're going to be in it to get the tool. Everybody will have a chance to win at the end. I thought the trivia will just be kind of fun, and we'll do some teaching moments as we go. You guys let me know how you feel about the live. You want to speed it up? You want to go, because I don't know what you're interested in unless you give me some input. Kingman is nice. William Berry, welcome to the live. So what we're going to do, we're just going to do some trivia questions. And then at about the hour mark, so right around 8 o'clock, 8:30, we're going to spin a wheel. And everybody that's here, they're going to have a chance to win a really cool tool. And if you want to see what the cool tool is, go up here. You can copy and paste that. I don't know if that's clickable or not. I don't think it is. You can copy and paste that. But in the comments, there's a, I'll put it back up again so it can refresh. So you guys can see it. So I don't know if that's clickable or not. Let me know if it is. And then see if you can't click that, just copy and paste that to your browser and it'll take you and you can see the tool. What it does, it helps the algorithm show that people are giving me some input on what we're doing. I had a crazy day, man. I had to go to Costco with my girl. Gosh, I'd rather be beat with a stick sometimes than do that. I don't know about you guys, man. When I have to go in and have to go shopping, gosh, it's like torture to me, man. I got a little bit going on the boat. Okay, so if you guys, it's clickable. Good deal. Is it clickable up here or is it clickable in the comments? Well, and there are some other tools. Before the night's over, if you guys stick around, I want to show you some tools that I believe in that are in the description. I didn't pick them out just to be picking them. They're tools that I use that I think are a good bargain. Okay, in the comments, that's pretty cool. I didn't realize those were clickable links. So, hey, Suppressed Life. What's up? Howdy to you. Welcome to live. We're going to start doing this thing. And then I told everybody else at the end of the live or at the end of the questions, whoever's here is going to have a chance to win the tool tonight. It's a pretty cool tool. Go check it out. I actually bought 3 of them. I was over at Costco and I bought them and I was thinking, well, maybe they're not that great. But when I got home, I looked them up on Amazon. On Amazon, they're $52. So they're a pretty good light. They're made by, well, I gave it away. They're made by Coast. So I'll show it to you guys. So it's a headgear type light. And it has, you can go one beam, right, left, or left beam, or you can go both beams. And then it has you can do side lighting, or you can do a little bit dimmer of a side light. And then if you hold it like that for a couple seconds, you get a red light or you get a green light. So you get red light, green light, you get single beam, right side, left side are double beam. It's pretty dang bright, man. Yeah, they are crazy incredible. And the one that I have listed is 50 something bucks. And I tried to find this one, exact one, but I couldn't find it. But the head is exactly the same as the Link. The only difference is the one that's in the thing, it has an extra battery pack on the back. So it gives you like double the capacity. It has a little bit better battery. But anyway, that's the gift we're giving away tonight. So stick around till the end, because everybody that's here is going to have a chance to win this. And if you guys would start, try to share the live for Friday nights, because when we get super thanks, we had a guy, I want to give a shout out to a guy called Doc Mojo. He's given us a couple super thanks recently, and that's how I was able to buy these. Any of those super thanks that we get, I try to use most of the money to buy pretty decent little tools. Anyone that just joined in, if you stick around to the end of the live, you're going to have a chance to win this light. And then it'll free of charge sent to you, as long as you're in the United States. I'm not going to do international shipping. It's just too expensive. But anyway, we're going to spin to win. We got a wheel, and whoever's here at the end of the live after we do the questions, you don't have to get it answered right or anything, to do pre-trips on semi-truckers on a fleet of 75 trucks. Yeah, these are great, man. I got about 3 or 4 different types of lights. And I keep this one, I don't think I have it here. I have a little streamlight I like to keep in my pocket, and I love that thing. But the nice thing about this thing is you always have it. You don't have to worry where it is, and you can get underneath the dash and your hands are free, so they're kind of nice. I have one at work that you can go like this and it'll turn it on and off. But I thought I was going to like it, but I don't, because you get underneath there and if something goes across it, it turns the light off. So it kind of sucks. Anyway, so that's the deal. We're going to give away this light. Anybody that's here is going to have a chance to win. That'd been great when I was doing the yard check at midnight. Yeah, for sure, garden party. Smash the like. Thanks, Will. I appreciate you reminding me of that. Yeah, if you guys would, if you click on the screen, it gives us likes. And then I try to remind people, if we give you some kind of information that's useful, if you would, if you can afford to or don't mind doing, give us a super thanks, because that's how we do this, is it allows us to be able to get pretty cool tools. So anyhow, we'll get going. You guys ready for the questions? I think these are some pretty good ones. I just did these off the top of my head tonight. I've been using chat a little bit, GPT, to do some of the questions. Some of them you got to read through, and I was like, that don't make any sense. Some of them don't make any sense. I thought I'd just do my own. If you guys watched the training the other night, you're going to have a leg up on everybody. I did a ignition system training last week, and we're going to start doing more of that. Tuesday nights, we're going to do Tuesday nights teaching night, and we'll see how that goes. It's kind of hard to be personable when you're teaching, though, so just so you guys know, it's kind of mundane when you're doing the teaching part, because I am trying to teach people stuff. And we'll do that as we go. Does it have a magnet on it? I don't think it does. I don't think so. It didn't. Oh, here's the cool thing about it, though. It has a rechargeable battery. So it's got a USB-C to charge it. But also you can pop that battery out and you can use regular batteries in it, which I thought was kind of cool. Hey, Tyler, thanks, buddy. I get that a lot. I need to create some beard oil. I've been telling people, man, I need to be selling beard oil. Tell them, man, you want a beard like this? All you got to do is put this beard oil on. You'll look like Go Big. All right, man. Welcome to live, Tyler. It does not have a magnet that I can see. So we'll go ahead and start doing we'll do the questions. After the questions, we'll spin for the tool. And for those of you that want to hang out and hang around, maybe we'll get some people in the room that have questions about their cars, and we'll try to answer them for them. Okay, let's do that. So we're not going to spin the wheel every time like we normally do. We're just going to do questions and answers, and at the end, we'll spin for the tool. Sound good? That way everybody has a chance. And hopefully we can start getting like 20 or 30 people into the live. For those that are just popping in, we're going to give away a pretty cool light tonight. At the end of the live, you're going to be able to win this 1,000 lumen rechargeable headlamp. And all you got to do is be here. I'm not sure what that means. Hey, Motoring USA, I'll figure out that admin thing because I don't know why. Because I thought last week I was able to do it. But this time, for some reason, it doesn't show me being able to do that to give a moderator. So I have to figure that out. I'll figure it out though, for sure. All right, here we go. First question. There's actually two possible answers to this question. When you adjust points, what measurement are you changing? When you adjust point ignition, when you adjust the points, what measurement are you changing? First answer. No, it's too broad. Too broad, Will. So if you look in a manual, what would that measurement be called in a manual? There you go, Gray Man. You got it. Dwell. So that's what they consider dwell. And dwell is measured in degrees that the points are closed. And we'll go through some of that tonight. So as the distributor shaft rotates, that's the number of degrees that the shaft turns while the points are closed. It's called dwell. And it actually adjusts timing as well. So if you're ever working on a point ignition, you always want to set dwell and then timing. You don't want to set timing and then adjust dwell because it moves your timing. It changes your timing. Yeah, it can be thickness of a business card, usually about 20 thousandths, usually. Depends on the vehicle, but it can change depending on the vehicle. You guys remember the old Unisets that Standard Ignition used to make? HEI used to be kind of a pain in the butt to set everything up. And they started selling, Standard Ignition started selling these Uniset points, and they were already pre-gapped, and it had the condenser and everything on there, and you could just take the other ones off and drop these in, you're done. You didn't have to set the dwell or anything. They were cool. They saved you a lot of time. Okay, here we go. Where does a tachometer get its signal from? Where does a tachometer get its signal from? Yeah, I've done that before, Motoring USA. In a pinch, that works. Cam sensor, nope. Well, actually, I guess it could get it from the cam sensor. It does get it from the coil, but what side of the coil, Grayman? What side of the coil gives tach signal? So the tachometer, got to make sure the bushings on the distributor aren't clapped out. Yeah, you're right. That used to be really common because you can take it and you can watch the points open and close, and it changes the timing. That was a problem with a lot of distributors, is the bushings would go away. And the centrifugal advances would freeze up and wouldn't advance. A lot of stuff like that. Anyway, so on a tachometer, you're getting your signal from a negative side of the coil. So anytime you're hooking up something and you're looking for RPM, you're going to want to be on that negative side of the coil. And that's a good theft deterrent. If you have a pretty nice older car and you don't like leaving it somewhere, afraid somebody might steal it, just take a wire and go from the negative side of the coil, bring it into the cab, and then put it on a toggle, and then put that other end of the wire on the toggle to ground. Because when you ground the negative side of the coil, you can't start the vehicle. It's just like the points are closed. And that's the problem with point ignition as a there's a wear block on them. So it opens and closes the points like this. And this wear block rubs on the distributor shaft. And over time, what happens is that wear block wears out and then it lets the points close. And if the points don't open and close, the coil won't fire. HEI or points ignition, be more specific. Okay, so early I backtrack. It was before HEI. Prior to HEI, GM had a regular ignition set or point set that could go in, and they had a set that you could buy. Instead of having to put the points in and set everything up and set the condenser in there, you could just drop it in as a unit. If you guys have an old Chevy, an old small block, and it's got point ignition in it, man, that's a good upgrade. An HEI, high energy ignition. It has the coil is built on the distributor, and it's a one wire hookup. You just pull your old distributor out, drop that HEI in there. It's a really good upgrade. Okay. Here, we can do this with the meter tonight. I appreciate everybody showing up tonight. If you would, go check out the descriptions. I'll talk about the tools that are in the descriptions if you guys hang around. Okay, so on a multimeter, let me put this where you can hear it too. I don't know if you guys worked with one of these before, but it's nice to have that buzzer on them. It's nice. So on a multimeter, when you're on resistance and this goes to 0, what is that reading considered when it goes to 0? What does that reading read? When it goes to 0, what is that reading? What is the name of that reading? I'm going to get your name right. Suppressed life. You're right. Continuity. And what that tells you when you do this, like let's say you've got this on one end of the wire and you want to know if there's a break in the wire. When you hook that up and that goes to 0, that tells you have continuity through the whole wire and there's no open. So if there was an open in that wire, when you hooked it up, right? Instead of going to 0 like that, it would look like this. It would just stay like that, which tells you the wire is open. So that's why it's just a really useful tool to have a meter around. There's all kinds of stuff I can teach you guys about how to test relays, how to test points, all kinds of stuff. And when I refer to point ignition, I'm trying to just teach you basic troubleshooting. I know everything else is not point ignition anymore, but the basics of ignition, point ignition will teach you how to troubleshoot, even though it's a solid state system. So on this, if you had this on resistance, if you went and checked the wire and you put this lead on one end of the wire and you put this lead on the other and it read like that, you know you have a wire problem. There's an open in that wire where it's broken. If it does this, you know the wire is good. And if it does this and it doesn't go all the way to 0, maybe you got some resistance in that circuit you need to go look after. Flatline. I like that. Old garden party. You gotta love old garden party. I do. Okay. So this is a little thinker. Not a real hard thinker, but if a battery reads 12 volts with the engine running, what's the possible issue? If it reads 12 volts with the engine running at the battery, what could be the problem? So you hook up your meter, engine's on, it's running, started, you hook the meter up and you read 12 volts. What do you know right then? Good job, Will. Bad alternator, very possible. It doesn't mean it has a bad alternator, but it means you don't have a charging system that's working. I'll run you through that. I just found out on that pickup I was working on. Alternator, bad alternator. Should it be 14? Okay, so typically you're going to see 13.6 minimum on a good system, but nowadays don't be surprised if you don't see 16 volts. Some of the new trucks and stuff now are 16, 17 volts. They're up there. But it used to be standard. 13.6 used to be standard voltage. But that's a good test, because if you think you've got a problem with the alternator, you can just start the car and hook these positive and negative across the battery and look at your voltage. If you got 14, 15 volts here, you know the charging system's working. You don't need a big fancy machine to do that. I smelled wires burning. I've smelled some wires burning before. It gets you a little excited. And so anyway, so that's what you should see. So here's the thing that I always tell people, whenever you think you got a alternator problem, take this, put the black on the negative side of the battery, take this and put it on the big heavy wire on the back of the alternator. You should see voltage there, because that's connected straight to the battery. That big wire on the back of the alternator, it's a big like 10 gauge wire. It's usually red, big heavy wire with a big nut on the back. When you go negative to positive on the back of that alternator, I don't even care if the engine's running or not, you should see 12 volts there. If you don't see voltage there, you got an open in that wire. And I don't care how many alternators you put on that thing, it ain't gonna charge. You have to have a good connection between the back of the alternator and the positive side of the battery, okay? But that's good to do. That's a great test to know, hey, is the charging system working? It won't tell you how many amps it's putting out, because sometimes you can have an alternator that's just putting out low amperage. But this will tell you if the alternator is doing anything. So it's a good test. Go there. If you see 12 volts or 10 volts or 11 volts, you got a problem with the charging system. Was under most alternators these days are commanded by PCM. Yeah, we'll talk about that. And just so you guys know, I'm trying to teach is like at the lowest level, and we'll work up from there. So like Grayman said, most alternators now are commanded by the alternator, but the theory is the same. You'll still have that big heavy wire that I was telling you about that goes from the back of the alternator to it's going to find power somewhere. Sometimes it'll go down to the battery positive on the starter, but it will find a way to the battery, because that's what it does. Its whole purpose. So there's three wires usually on the back of an alternator. Big heavy one goes to the battery, and the two small ones is what Grayman 62 is talking about. Now what they do is they send those wires up to the computer, and instead of it being controlled by the voltage regulator that's inside the alternator, the computer decides. So the computer's looking at it and going, okay, voltage is getting low, and they'll just ground that leg. And what it does, it builds a magnetic field inside, and it builds a field inside the alternator so it can charge. So it is controlled. You're right. Good job, Grayman. My alternator was under amp though, and I was harder to diagnose. I had to buy a clamp meter. Yep, you're right. And normally what you do in a shop situation is you run it at 2,500 RPM and you load the alternator with a machine, and it'll show you what the maximum amperage is. The old days, they used to have a way you could fulfill the alternator. You reached in there with a little screwdriver and you grounded a leg in there, and it would make that alternator put out its maximum amperage. And it's crazy now, some of the amperage. Some of these big trucks, like the big diesels now, I'm not kidding you, they're putting out like 250 amps. I think they're even higher than that, like around 300, some of them. They put out crazy because they have so much electrical needs now, you know. So anyway, okay, here's another points question. For you that are dropping in, if you're here at the end of the live, you're going to be a part of being able to spin for the tool we're giving away. Go check it out. And it's in the comments too. I'll drop it again just so people can find it. How's the questions so far? Okay. I'm trying to make them not crazy hard, but make them hard enough for people got to think a little bit. So if you disconnect the negatives, the wire that's going into a distributor that's hooked to the points, you take a test light, you put the clamp on positive, and you put the negative, the pointy part of the test light on the wire that's going into the points. When you crank on the engine, what should that light do? Think about what the points do, right? What are they doing? So when you crank on that wire going into the points, and the end of the test light is on the positive side of the battery. Exactly, Will. Good job. It should flash. That's how I diagnosed that boat the other day. The flywheel was going to be a pain to get off, and I knew that. And I was like, I don't want to take that off unless I have to. So I just took the wire going into the points. I put a test light on it. I cranked on it, and I had nothing. So I knew the points were either not there, the wire was broken, it lost its ground through the plate, or they were just out of adjustment. So I knew then, okay, got to take the flywheel off. They're definitely got a problem with the points. And there's not, the only difference between a point ignition and a solid state ignition is who's controlling the ground. This coil, the way the coil fires is still the same. It still has to have power to the coil. And it still has to need something to ground and unground the coil to make it fire. So all we've done on some of them, the ignition has a module in there that does that. And now sometimes the computer does it. So now the computer sometimes controls the ground for the spark. The same, and that's why I try to teach point ignition, because it will teach you the basics. So even like coil on plug, I don't know if you guys know what coil on plug is. Some of you do, I'm sure. But now all the newer cars, they have a coil for every cylinder, and it sits right on top of the spark plug, and there's no wire. But the concept is still the same. The coil still has to have power, and something has to ground and unground that coil for it to fire. So all we've done is we took away the points ability and we gave it to the computer or the ignition module. Yep, coil unplug, cops. Yep, you're right. Hey, Will, you got some skills, brother, I can tell. You're on my list. You're on my list of guys that know what they're talking about. Give me a second. In the Ohm's law symbol, E over IR, what does I stand for? In Ohm's law, E over IR, what does I stand for? No Googling. I know you guys hitting that Google thing. No Chat GPT either. You got to do this on your own. TD, welcome to the live. First time, I didn't know you were here until this now. You're correct. It means amps. Did you use Google? Be honest. Did you use Google or did you have the answer? So it does mean amps. And what it means is intensity. You'd think they would have named it A, right? But it's not, it's I. I means intensity. And what Ohm's law, he did, Warren said, Ohm's law is a relationship between voltage, amperage, and resistance. So if you have two of the measurements, you know what the third one is just by doing the math, right? So if you know what the let me get it right because I got to look at it. If you know what the resistance and the amperage is, and you multiply them together, you'll get the voltage. If you know what the voltage is and you have the resistance, you can divide it and you know what the, I got to look at it so I don't screw it up. If you know what the voltage is and you know what the intensity is, you can divide it and come up with the resistance. There's a mathematical relationship there. And what I try to teach guys the most is like, I learned that stuff, and what you really need to understand is when voltage drops, current goes up. That's what you really want to remember in the automotive industry. So when you see guys like cranking on a car that's got real low battery and you hear it going, rah, 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 it's barely turning the motor, the amperage on that starter is spiking, man. And it's not good. When you start dragging a motor like that with the starter if you put a meter on there and you looked at the voltage is dropping down to like 10 volts. And what's happening is the current goes way up. And when current goes up, so does heat. And I've seen guys burn the cables right off the starter before. Here recently, I was working at the shop and I could hear this guy in the back and he's cranking on this grater. It's got dual batteries, 24-volt system. And he's trying to get the air out of the injectors because they had air in it. And he's just cranking on this thing and cranking on it and cranking on it. And I can hear him from the front. I'm like, he keeps doing that, he's going to put a starter in that thing. You know, I hear him back. He's cranking on it for a half an hour, you know. And it's okay to crank like that. But when you do that, yeah, it will overheat. Actually will. It'll burn the cables right off the thing. And if you have to do that, just give a cycle between. Don't crank more than 10 or 15 seconds. Crank 10 seconds, let off the key, let it rest for a minute. Crank 10 seconds, give it a cool off period. But he was back there just cranking and cranking. I'm looking back there and I'm thinking, man, he's going to burn that starter up. About an hour later, he goes by, walking by me with a parts request in his hand. I go, hey, what are you doing? Oh, that starter's bad. I said, yeah, I bet it is. You just burnt the freaking windings out of it. I'm going to tell you something after this lesson. Okay, that's cool. Maybe you'll teach me something. Sounds good. Okay, but that's something to remember is when voltage goes down, amperage goes up. When amperage goes up, temperature is created, you know. So that's, just remember that. So just give a cool off period. If you're out there working on something and you're trying to diagnose it and you're cranking on it, just, crank on it and do a test and then give it a minute or two to give it some cooling time. And then when you hear the battery really pulling down, wah, 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 get a charger on it. Don't sit there and crank on that thing when you got low voltage, man. You're going to burn up the starter or burn the wires off the thing. Like I said, I've walked by cars in the shop and they're smoking. And I walked up to the technician and go, do you think there's a problem with when you see the cable smoking? Smoke is bad. You're doing something that it doesn't like. Do you understand that? Go get a charger on this thing. Anyway, I've been a fleet manager. I've ran shops before, and I've been a fleet manager. I retired for 5 years and I went back to work. Matter of fact, I'm going back to work in about another week. So I build police cars for a living. That's what I do. Hey, thanks, Easy Money. Hey, I appreciate it when you guys do that. I really do, because I forget to tell people that. We're doing pretty good. The more subscribers we get, the better, And I'm going to keep doing these lives. I don't care if there's 5 people here. We're going to keep doing these lives because I think they're important. And on the lives now, I'm going to do Mondays. I'm not sure on Mondays what we're going to do. We might do just like question and answers on Mondays. Try to help people fix their cars. And Tuesday, we're going to do teaching. I'm going to teach some kind of class every Tuesday night. And then on Fridays, we're going to do this. And then in the mornings, if you see me on in the mornings, we're just sitting around shooting a bull about hot rods. So come hang out with us. If you see us on early in the morning, I'm probably going to start getting on at like 3, 4 in the morning. So it'll be 7 o'clock West Coast time. So some of you guys might see me in the mornings like that. Good question. What does a condenser do in a points to stir? Well, that's a great question. And the only way I can explain it, it's like a shock absorber for the voltage. And what it does, it allows the voltage to dissipate for the next firing. And try this sometime, you'll be blown away. A car will not run without a condenser. Take the condenser off and see. It won't run. Because what happens is it won't allow it to unground. Because you have to, that's when the spark occurs on ignition points. When you close the points, the magnetic field builds in the primary coil. And when you disconnect the point is when it collapses. And when the magnetic field collapses, that's when the coil fires, when it collapses, when you disconnect the ground. So what happens if you don't have, if the voltage is high and it doesn't allow it to fully go to ground before it closes again, it won't allow the coil to fire. Reduces moisture. I don't know if it does that or not. I just know, and honestly, if you ever cut one open, you know what it is? It's just a big old wound of tin in there. It's just like tinfoil wound up in a ball. But I'll tell you a story about that. It was kind of a funny story. When I was going through automotive, my instructor, man, he was smart, really smart guy. And I had this little Datsun 510, and he lived in the same town I lived in, and we were about 30 miles from where I went to school at. And I broke down on the side of the road in that Datsun. And usually, this is how you know you have a bad condenser. When you look at the spark, it'll be yellow. It won't be blue. A good spark should be blue and snappy. When you crank on something and you check at the coil and it looks yellow, you got a bad condenser. And this is how I figured it out. I broke down, it wouldn't run. And he pulls over, he goes, "Hey, what's going on?" I said, "I don't know, man. This thing just died on me." So he gets out and he starts checking, and he's checking the spark, and he goes, "Yeah, I think you lost the condenser." So have you ever noticed on the coils, they used to put a condenser on the coil? And what that was, it was for noise suppression for the radio. So you wouldn't, I don't know if you've ever been in a car before and you rev it up and you can hear it in the radio when you rev up the car. That's because the condenser is either missing or went bad that's on the side of the coil. He goes, "Oh, we'll get you on the road." And he takes that condenser off the coil and he wired it into the negative side, fired it up, man, thing ran great. I drove it home like that. This is when I learned about what condensers can do. Yeah, I had two 510s. The 510 I had, I rebuilt the motor completely, put a camshaft in it, put a Weber carb and a nice cam. And it was a neat little car, man. I love that thing. Floating ground. Yeah, that might be a good way to describe it. Because it won't allow the coil to go to full ground. It's kind of grounding, but not quite. AI, what does that mean? This ain't AI. We are not AI here, brother. Believe me. If I was, I'd look a lot younger. That's for sure. Okay. What does RPM stand for? What does RPM stand for? Three words. What's the first one to answer? Let's see who's got it, who's listening tonight. What does RPM stand for? Good job, brother. Suppressed life. Revolutions per minute. That was kind of an easy one, but I thought I'd throw it in there for people who didn't know much. What time is it getting to be? So at 8 o'clock, we'll probably do the drawing. I know you guys don't like there being a lot of people here because you have a better chance of winning this stuff. But tell your friends, man. If you guys would start posting the live on Friday nights on your social media, if you would, so we can get more people into the live. All right. Not that I don't mind hanging out with you guys, because I don't mind at all. I'm just trying to promote. And in the descriptions, after I give the tool away tonight, if you guys will hang around, let me just talk about some tools before we take off. I should shave my beard on the live. Well, just a little bit. You're talking all the way off. I'm not shaving it off, brother. No. you'd have to pay me a lot of money. You guys start laying down some ducats, man. Like it'd take a lot. You'd have to pay me a lot. Anyway, for those people that just showed up, if you're here at the end of the live, we're going to give away this really cool light. All you have to do is be here. Okay, next question. During the intake stroke, is the exhaust valve open or closed? During the intake stroke, is the exhaust valve open or closed? That's an easy one. You guys should be on that like a, nope, it's not. Exhaust valve is closed. On the intake stroke, the exhaust valve is closed. Suppress life. You got the answer right. Everybody's saying closed. Okay, so the piston's going down, right? It's sucking. The intake valve opens. The exhaust stays closed. It goes down, and then on compression, they both close, right? So here are compression. The plug fires, boom. You're on the power. And then as it comes up this next time, the exhaust valve opens and lets the exhaust out. Boom diggity. Yeah, for sure, huh? Okay. We'll see who knows what on this one. We'll see who knows. We're almost to the drawing. So you guys that are here, stay in here, man. All you got to do is be the right one, and you're going to win one of these. We're going to give this bad boy away, and it's a nice light. I was kind of surprised. I was impressed by them, man. I got it all upside down. We got one more question. We'll go for it. Would it adjust up and down? It's got right side, left side, or both. Pretty cool. Decent little light. I bought 3 of them. I'm going to keep one and maybe give one more away next week. Okay. Explain the difference between diesel and gas. You mean explain the difference? Okay, we'll do that in a second. Okay. David Rapp. We'll do that in a minute. We're going to do one more. Question. We'll do that question. That's a good question. There's a couple little different things about diesel. In a typical automotive, basic automotive, not diesel, not turbo, just basic automotive, what is typical back pressure in an exhaust system? How many pounds will you see in back pressure? This is kind of an important thing to know. The only reason why I know is because I've had to do it a lot of times. What is back pressure typically on an exhaust system? Hey, Batman versus Superman, welcome to the live, man. You just made it just in time. We're gonna spin for this pretty cool light. We're gonna have to have some kind of good job, David Rapp. 2 pounds, usually 1 to 2 pounds. If you see more than 2 pounds, you got a back pressure problem. And they got a really nice tool for doing that you can take the O2 sensor out and you can screw this thing in there and you can hook a pressure gauge on there. And what's nice is you can check for I'm sorry to keep, I don't know if I'm looking right or not. My camera's right here, so I'm looking at the screen like this, so doesn't look too bad. Straight exhaust. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm going to do on that IDI. I'm going to put straight exhaust on. It's going to be loud. I don't care though. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so it's helpful. Like if you're, I don't know if you guys ever chased one with a plugged up exhaust, but it just has no power. Just gutless, you know. It just feels like it won't get out of its own way. Sometimes they won't go over 25 miles an hour. In the old days, we used to just cut them off and drive them around the block. Sound like a dragster, man. And you would know that it had a plugged up exhaust. But it's nice to be able to just take the O2 out, put that in there and run it. at, you know, about $3,000, you shouldn't see more than 1 to 2 pounds of back pressure. And if you do, you got a restriction in the exhaust. Some of the old exhausts would collapse from the inside too. They'd get hot and the baffle would go down like that. And then when they cool off, they'd come back. Really hard to figure out. Converter stops up. Let's go back to what this guy said. Let's spin for the tool, man. Who do we have here? Make sure I get everybody. Will, David. Will, David, Suppress. I'm just going to call you Suppress on right the whole thing out. Easy Money. Motor, and you still in the house? I think you are. Hey, you guys speak up so I know who's here, so I know who to put in the live, who to put on the wheel. Hey, if you guys would, just comment one at a time, light, so I know who all's in the room. Phil Collins, we'll talk about that here in a minute. My friends call me easy. I used to tell people that. I'd say I'm easy, but I ain't cheap. Okay, we got Easy Money. We got Motorin. Hey, if you guys would that are here, put something down so I know who's here. So we can do the spin. Phil, I didn't have you down. You kind of cheated. You came in at the last minute, but we're going to let you in anyway. Well, Phil Collins, you got me. Easy Money, Phil Collins. Oh, hey, Marcia, didn't even see that you were here. Welcome to the live. Marcia. That Marcia girl, she's something, man. I think that's it. We got like 14 people, man, but I only got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 7 names. If you're here and you want to be part of the drawing, you need to put your name down. David, I got you. So right now I got David, Wilt, Super, Suppressed, Easy Money, Motorin, Phil, Marcia, and I think so we're down to 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like that's what we got right there. Okay, we're gonna call that good. We got 7. We got 7 in the running. Wait a minute. Where's hang tight for just a second. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. Give me just a minute. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anybody. I know I'm missing one. Okay, we got Garden Party. Okay, we're going to call that good for the most, because that's who was here the most of the time. For those of you that showed up right at the end, if you're here and you just showed up at the end, we do this every Friday night. We do questions that's automotive related. And at the end of the questions, we spin for a tool. And tonight we're going to give away this headlamp. It's about a $50 value on Amazon. So anyway, take your time, just hanging out by the river. All right, man, nothing wrong with that. I'm jealous, Phil. We'll talk about the Philippines too. You got the perfect name, Phil, to be going to the Philippines. All right. Okay, let me issue out some numbers to everybody, okay? Here we go. What we're going to do is just give everybody one number, and we'll spin until it lands on your number. Wilt, you're 14. David, you're 5. Suppressed, you're number 1. Easy money, 8. Motorin, let's give you 12. Phil, we're going to make you 3. Marcia, we'll give you lucky number 7. Garden Party, you are number 11. All right. Well, I got to get my hang on. I'm kind of not ready tonight. Give me just a second. I was kind of unprepared tonight. Okay, I got the wheel. Everybody got their numbers? I'm gonna read them back. Wilt, 14. David, 5. Suppressed, 1. Easy Money, 8. Motorin, 12. Phil, 3. Marcia's 7. And Garden Party's 11. Any of you that just showed up, every Friday night we do this and we give away a free tool. And at the end of the live tonight, or after we're done giving away the tool, we'll just hang out and shoot the bull if you guys want to or whatever. And then as people come in, let's try to answer their questions. We'll talk about the diesel gas that somebody had a question about, and we'll just do some question and answers tonight. Because I'm thinking about on Monday, we might start doing that. And if you guys would, don't forget, man, go click on the link right here or in the comments. I'll drop this link again, just so you don't have to go looking for it. If you would, just click on that link. Whether you want to buy it or not, when you click on the link, it helps us out. It just opens up a window. So later, like tomorrow, if your wife or girlfriend decides to buy a Ferrari, I get a percentage of that. Okay, it opens up a 24-hour window. Let me go grab my little thing for the spinner. I'm surprised you guys ain't giving me crap about this wheel, because I keep saying I'm going to build a new wheel and I haven't did it yet. And when I'm done here, I'll put my email, it's a burner email up that you guys can send me an email with your address on it, and I'll get that into the mail to you. Okay. Here we go, man. I'm gonna spin this a couple times, make sure it doesn't stay on the same one at all. Man, if you guys could see my oh man, I got a mess going on here, dude. I'm not kidding you. I need to clean this bench badly. I'm glad you guys can't see my bench. I'd be embarrassed right now. It's a freaking mess. Okay, I'm gonna pull you off of here. Let's see, I don't want to mess this up or I'm gonna lose you. Hang on, I gotta make sure I do this right. Man, I got stuff going everywhere, man. Anyway, let me flip this around where I can see it. Okay, I'm gonna spin it once just to make sure the wheel's working right. That's kind of rough, huh? Let's do it again. This ain't for the win. This is just checking the wheel. I don't want you guys to see where it landed. That's okay. Nobody won anyway. Okay, here we go. We're going to spin it until it lands on a winning number. You ready? I've been drinking now. I'm dizzy. Needs lube. I need a new wheel. How you like my coin, though? That's pretty cool, though, right? You like my coin? That's an all silver 50-cent piece. Anyway, I got me a nice piece of silver today. I'm going to try to make a piece of jewelry with it. Here we go for the win. It's tool time, baby. What is the number? The lucky number is 4. We're spinning again. That was close, David. Almost. Here we go. Lucky number 7. Marcia, you are the winner. Woo! So our winner tonight is Marcia. Congratulations, Marcia. I hope you enjoy the light. And for you that didn't win, we're going to give another one of those away next week. They're pretty nice, actually. And if you can't wait till next week, go check out the description, man. You can get one from Amazon. So let me just talk for a few minutes about some tools, if you guys don't mind. I want to show these are tools that I've used, and I want to show this one that I think is a great tool, man. I would not be without this tool. I swear, I believe that much. I've used it so much, and I believe in it. Let me see if I can find the one that's cheaper. Yeah, here it is right here. So you can buy this a couple different ways. I'm going to put it on the, I'll put it on the screen for you guys to see, okay? These are 135 bucks, but man, I tell you what, if you don't have a test light and you're thinking about buying a test light, let me get you guys back. Let's see, I want to share my screen. Uh-oh, don't do that. I almost pushed the wrong button. Hang on, give me a second. Just give me just one moment. I want to get don't run off. I want to show you this. It's really cool. I have one of these in my toolbox at work, and I keep one in the tool room at work. And this is such a good tool. And I've used this company before for different things. Let me share my screen real quick, okay? Just give me just a minute. I'm trying to get faster at this. Share my screen. There it is, right there. Share. So I don't know if you guys can make that out 100%. Let me drop me out of here. I gotta leave me up because you guys, I'll lose the audio. So this is a power probe, and they're 135 bucks if you buy just the probe, and it comes with the leads and the probe. But man, what a great tool for doing drivability, or for like doing testing on electrical. What it does is it gives you a test light. So it shows you if you're on the power and ground by showing you a red or green light. But what it has a little rocker switch on there. So you can apply power or you can apply a ground. And then it has a built-in circuit breaker. So let's say you got a wire that's shorted to ground. When you push the power, it'll kick the relay. So you'll know you got to short the ground. And what's cool about this tool, it's got a real nice bright light on the end. So you know how you're always trying, you're inside underneath the dash or whatever. It's got a built-in light. And then the leads are like 20 feet long. So you just go to the battery, you hook up positive, negative, that probe becomes power or ground wherever you want to put it. And it's long enough, you can go all the way to the back of the vehicle and work on the taillights. A really great tool. So you can get that a couple different ways. Let me get rid of this now. So you can buy that with just the power probe for like $135, or you can get the kit for like $170. It comes with a couple little different things and a molded case that comes with it. But if you're looking for something for like that, I'm telling you, man, I've done a lot of electrical. There's no better tool that you can have in your toolbox than that power probe. You know, I have one, I've used it. I've used them for like probably 10 years since they first came out. And it's a very, very useful tool. And if you're going to buy a test light anyway, you're going to spend $50 on a good test light. For $135, you can get that power probe. And they got a full kit you can get where you can trace wires. It has like a deal you can put on there. It'll put a signature down the wire, and you take this little thing, and it'll tell you where that wire goes. So like, say you're trying to chase a wire through a harness and you're not sure where it turns, you can figure that out with that signal. It sends a signal down the wire. It's kind of cool. So anyway, if you're looking for that, and then there's a couple, if you look in the descriptions tonight before you take off, is we have, there's a really nice Craftsman set in there. It's 3/8, and it's 1/4 and 3/8, deep and shallow for like $69. It's a really good deal. Got to roll. Thank you for the teachings. Till next time. All right, motoring. Hey, take care, buddy. It does DC only, I believe, Wilt. I don't know if it does AC. I don't think so. It's more of an automotive tester. The crescent wrench. So anyway, and what was the other ones we put in there tonight? Oh, I put a link up there for the NOCO battery jumper. They're under $100 right now. $99 for that CV40. It's a 1,000 amp battery jumper. That's a nice little unit to have around. So if you would, go in the descriptions, look through the tools that we listed tonight, whether you buy one or not. We appreciate you at least going to the description and checking out our links. All right, so yeah, man, the NOCO, there's no better system than NOCO when it comes to those battery jumpers. They're a good quality unit, man. I've been pushing that 10 amp battery charger. I didn't list it tonight. I probably should have. But if you decide to buy something like that, like you want to think about buying a battery charger, if you just go to our link and click on it and then go buy the battery charger, we still get credit for it. The NOCOs are a great product, man. I just got the 10 amp one and I love it. I brought back multiple batteries now with that because it has a repair mode on it. So you can put it on repair mode, and if you have a battery that's been sitting for a while and it won't take a charge, you can put it on that repair mode and it'll knock the sulfation off the plates and you can bring a battery back. I saved about $500 since I bought that thing. I saved $300 on my motorhome batteries because I was going to have to put new ones in it. And I said, I'm going to try this thing. So it has a thing, you hold it down for 5 seconds, it goes to repair mode and it blasts it, for like up from 2 hours up to 8 hours. And then after you're done, it'll take most of them will take a charge. I just had one here that I tried the other day and it wouldn't do it. And what it did on that one, it did the repair mode. And then when I went to charge it, it just gave me like an X that said, no, this battery's too far gone. We can't do it. So that's a good unit. Let's go back and let's answer some questions here. Let's see. Somebody was asking about, is he still here? He was asking about the difference between gas and diesel. And so let's talk about that. So gas and diesel is really the way the fuel has to be compressed to burn. Gasoline is very volatile, so it burns pretty easy. And yeah, that's a good point, flash point. So, and the way it's ignited, a gas engine is ignited with spark plugs that spark and it creates an explosion. And a diesel engine has glow plugs. So it's similar. It does the same job as a spark plug, but what it does, it warms up the combustion chamber. So when you compress that fuel, at some point it explodes. Yeah, it's just the way that the fuel is ignited. So that's the biggest difference between fuel and gas. It's just a different, diesel is more of like an oil than it is a volatile fuel. Like you can take diesel and put it out on the ground and try to light it. You can't light it with a lighter. It won't light. It has to be compressed to light. It will light if you give it some kind of a wick, like if you put it on a piece of wood or something, it eventually will light, but it's not like gasoline. Gasoline is very volatile. So like if you give it an open flame, man, boom, it'll light up. Where diesel won't do that. Like you can take a stick that's on fire and stick it in a bucket of diesel and it'll just put the fire out. So it's a little safer, as far as leaks or something getting caught on fire. Tell you the last time we talked, if you want to paint your bike, try a gravity gun. Okay, hey, I'm going to write that down, man. Gravity gun. Hey, when you guys tell me stuff that I'm trying to learn, just so you know, I do actually go check it out. I got to find my freaking pen first. That's what's bad about when you get old. You can't find nothing. Man, if you guys seen my bench right now, you would not believe how bad my bench looks. It's a mess, man. I did that teaching the other night. I'm going to write this down. Gravity gun. I was just talking to my girl about that today, that I want to get me a gun. I was talking to Batman versus Superman, is I want to learn how to paint. So I have a 04 Suburban with a Vortec 81er with an intermittent rough start. Change harmonic balancer, water pump, fan clutch, alternator, battery. I don't know what next, starter injectors maybe. So tell me, tell me what it does. So when you say an intermittent rough start, does it start and run rough and then it stops running rough? So it starts but runs at a rough idle, then it goes away? Or does it just not want to start? Yeah, well, man, then I've been busy because this bench is a mess, man. It clangs for like 30 seconds, then normals out. Like Wilt said, very possible. So I'll explain to you why vacuum leaks. Vacuum leaks usually are more obvious during open loop. And what open loop is, when you first start a vehicle up, the computer doesn't look at the O2 sensor. It doesn't make any fuel changes. It just runs and it's waiting for everything to come up to temperature so it can go into closed loop. And what closed loop is, it starts watching the O2 sensor cycle from above and below a half a millivolt, 500 millivolts, so half a volt. So O2, until it meets certain parameters, the computer just goes, I'm not going to pay no attention to you because, the engine's not a normal operating temperature. And that's when vacuum leaks will show themselves the most, is during open loop. And I'm thinking it's a 2000, and there's another thing that can cause that on that year or model. I'm thinking it's that that fuel injection system that has all the little lines that go over to each cylinder, and they got these little poppet valves in there. The 4.3s used to do this, and the small blocks with that system would do that. They would start up and run rough, and then it would go away. And what happens is the poppet valves stick, and we used to do a fuel treatment on those. BG used to sell a really good fuel treatment for that. And I don't recommend pouring anything that's like stick it in your tank and it's going to fix it thing. But on that situation, fuel injection cleaner sometimes will make that go away. Could be a spark plug, but normally, like if you load it up, it could be a lot of things, That's the thing. It's hard to say, but what I would do is when it goes away, Step on the brake and put it in gear and just give it a little throttle and load the engine and see if you feel it then. Because it could be a plug wire that's just going to ground. Yeah, look, if you're going to try the cleaner, see if you can find a good one. BG sells a good one. You usually can't find it at a parts store. You usually got to get it from a shop or something. There's a couple good injector cleaners around. I don't like putting them in the tank. We used to put them in a bag and then you put it into the fuel rail and feed it right into the fuel rail. That's the best way to do it. But the poppet valves on those, sometimes they get sticky and that'll cause, it'll just miss like for 10 or 20 seconds and then go away. And it's a pretty common problem on that year, make, and model. They have the early fuel injection, 87. Didn't you say it was like a 2002 or something like that? 04. So yeah. Yeah, like Wilt said, does it ever turn on the check engine light? Does the check engine light ever come on while it's doing this? No lights, just runs rough. And see, probably more than likely, and it only does it when you first start it, correct? During initial startup, it's doing it, I'll bet. Yeah, I'm with you, Will. It could be a vacuum leak. Yeah, because that's when you're going to see vacuum leak the most is I would really look hard at a vacuum leak. Look around all those little hard plastic lines. Sometimes on the GMs where the rubber goes into the, like around the throttle body area or any of the intake area, they have these rubber lines that slide on. They'll get gummy, and what I've seen them do is they'll leak vacuum, and then after the car starts up, it'll suck them in and it'll block that vacuum leak off. So just kind of feel around on all your lines to see if you got something. And sometimes it's really obvious, and other times it isn't. You know, where the rubber has collapsed and it just kind of does one of these, and there's a split in it. We used to use carb spray, you know, spray around it looking for vacuum leaks. But man, most of the fuel stuff you use anymore doesn't pick up anything. You know, it doesn't pick up like it used to. I used to use propane, just run around everything with a propane bottle. But I think WD might help you a little bit. Yeah, that's what I just said. You can use propane. But to use propane, you got to have a little tool that goes on the end of the bottle that's easy to open and close it. Most of the time anymore, people are using a smoke machine. They pump smoke into the intake manifold, and then you just look for smoke. They have a machine. I have a bottle filler. What do you mean you have a bottle filler? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Okay, you got a smoke machine? That's the way to go then. Just take the line off the brake booster, put your smoke machine in there, and just fill it with smoke and watch. And if it's around the intake, yeah, the propane, there actually takes a tool. It screws on the top of one of those little bottles, and it's got just a little valve on it. So it's like more like an automotive tool. But propane's a good thing to have around. I used to adjust carburetors all the time. That's how we used to adjust carburetors with a propane bottle. You just feed them propane. You want to see about a 50 RPM gain. So that puts you right at the 14.7 to 1 by using propane. It's a rubber hose. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Will? You know how the hoses will suck in and then they get gooey and then they'll get like a split in them. I've fixed a bunch of those like that. Just do a really good inspection, get a good flashlight, and just inspect all the rubber hoses. Yeah. Sometimes you can hear it too. Like when you first start it, jump underneath the hood as soon as you start it and listen. You might even hear it. I fixed a bunch of them like that. And GM uses these like rubber slide-on grommet type fittings where they go on and off plastic hoses and around the throttle body area. And they'll just get gooey kind of, and then they'll get a little split. Ford does the same thing. They have the same problem on Fords too. And they get a little split in them, and then they pull in and they'll leak vacuum for a little bit. And then as the vacuum increases, it'll actually pull them closed and they'll stop leaking. Yeah, just, I'll tell you, that's one thing I've taught a lot of young guys. A visual inspection is probably I've fixed more cars in my career with a good visual inspection. First thing you should do, very first thing you should do is, look really hard at everything. Just take a good flashlight and just go over everything. Just give it a really good visual inspection. Pull on stuff, pull on the cables. You can fix one of them. I think I missed a. Hang on a second. I think I missed a. I missed a question tonight too. I wanted to make sure you guys got this. What is the first step you should always do when you're testing with a test light? Very first step when you're using a test light. I don't care what circuit you're working on. What's the very first step when using a test light? Yeah, you're right. Well, if it was a sensor, it'd be a light on. Sometimes it depends though. I've seen some sensors that won't set a light. No. When you're checking, this is a good tip. And I've taught a lot of guys over the years, and this is a really good tip that you should always do. Whenever you use a test light, the first thing you should do is hook it up and test it on the battery and make sure it lights. I couldn't tell you how many people I've chased problems with that were chasing a circuit, and I went over there to help them and go, I start, and the very first thing I do every time I hook the light up and I test across the battery and make sure the light lights. Because what can happen is you go over there and you start chasing, you're doing a trouble chart, and it says you should have power here, power here, power. And before you know it, you're underneath the dash and you're checking fuses and you're like down the rabbit hole. And the whole time is the test light does not work. And that is so frustrating. I went up to guys that have been working on stuff, said, man, I can't figure this out. I've been working on this thing for an hour. And I walk over there and I go, let me see your light. And I just became habit to always test the light and I go, the light's not working. You got a bad clamp on there, or you got a bulb burnout or something. Fix the light and then start over. Bulb blows. Exactly. Or you get a problem with the clamp, or you don't have a good ground. You hook up and you think you have a good ground and you don't. So you always want to hook it up to whatever ground you're going to use and check the light and make sure it works. Because I've done that. I've been down the rabbit hole, man, an hour and go, what the heck is going on here? And then I find out, here's another one I'll teach you guys, is don't get in the habit of relying on that test light sometimes. Sometimes you want to look at voltage. I had a situation here recently. I was working on a Chevy Tahoe that had dual batteries, and we had a patrol car and the overhead lights wouldn't work. And I'm walking through and what is going on with this thing? I had my light, I got power, I got a ground, I checked the power on the ground. I couldn't get any of the lighting to come on. So I'm underneath there, I'm in the console, I'm digging through the controller, I'm testing all in there. I'm like, this thing has power all the way to the all the way to the bar and the light won't come on. And I just thought about it. And actually my boss, he goes, hey, you better make sure that secondary battery's not dead because we had one do that. And I go, what? And he goes, yeah. So I went and got a meter, put it over that battery. It only had like 4 volts in it. So it would light the light. I had power, but it didn't have enough voltage to turn the light on. So you got to be careful of that. Don't know how to test that test light neither. Yeah, test light is a good tool. But I tell you, man, if you're doing any of this, buy you one of those power probes. I guarantee you, if you buy a power probe, you'll be coming on here in 3 months and telling me, man, I'm so glad you talked me into that power probe. That's the best tool in the world. I won't even work on stuff at the shop now. I'll go over there and people are working on stuff. I said, go get the power probe. I got test light. No, go get that power probe, man. There's no better tool that you can use than that power probe when it comes to doing checking for electrical problems. Because it's so simple. It has a light on it so you can see what you're doing. It has a real nice tip on it. And then you can put it on the power. It tells you the voltage right on there, what the voltage is. And then let's say you go to a light, right? And you check the ground and you have a good ground. And you go over to the power and there's no power. Well, you just push the button to give it power and the light comes on. So you just test the bulb. You just test the circuit. You know that the component works because you gave it a power and it had a ground. And you can do the same thing. Let's say you go to test it and you test it and it has a power, but it's not coming on. And you go over to the other side and you give it a ground and then the light comes on, you know you got a bad ground. It's just a great tool, man. Really good tool. It's probably, I wouldn't be without one now. I need to buy one for home, you know, for sure. All right. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night for tonight. I appreciate you guys showing up tonight. Remember, Mondays, I haven't decided yet. I was thinking about doing motorcycle Mondays, but I think we're going to do mechanic Mondays, where we can get a bunch of guys together that have some experience, and we'll just start answering people's questions about their automotive like we did tonight. We'll just work through that stuff, and that'll be helpful for people, and we can teach as we go. For people that just joined us on Friday nights, we have trivia at 7 p.m. And then we gave away a really nice lamp tonight. What did I do with the thing? I thought I had. Where it is? Yeah. So we gave away this tonight, and then we'll give away another one of these next Friday night. So if you guys have, hey Phil, I don't want to go away. I forgot I want to talk to you. Hey girl, that's my daughter, Spun Gold. Hey Phil, so how you doing on the going to the Philippines thing? You still kind of kicking that around or what? I love tools. Me too. I love tools. All right, buddy. Take care. But we're gonna next week we'll give away another one of these. And at the end, what we're gonna start doing with the lives for the tool giveaway, we're gonna do trivia like we did tonight. So we'll ask questions and we'll teach along the way. And then at the end of the live, when we're done, everybody will have a chance to win this. So whoever's here at around 8 o'clock, I don't want people just popping in right at the end just so they can win a tool. But anyway, I want to go, at the end, we'll just spin so everybody has a chance to win the tool. But the trivia is kind of fun. Oh, really? Phil, what'd you get a job offer in Texas for? What kind of job offer did you get? I've been to Texas, but I heard it's pretty nice there. They got some places they got some mountains there. I forget what they call it, but there's some areas in Texas that it's more like the hills, like mountains, but there's only one part of Texas that way. Torn between young ladies and money. Well, I don't know, man. Yo, what's the glasses prescription? What do you mean? What's the glasses prescription? I got a messed up eye right now. I'm going in for surgery. Well, that's a pretty cool job. Working on turbines. Going to pay you a pretty good wage, I'll bet. Doing troubleshooting or putting them up? Elijah, yeah, I got they're going to put a lens in this eye. Oh, putting in the concrete. Yeah, they're amazing on when they're down on the ground, huh, Spun Gold? They're giant. You don't realize how big they are until you get up close to them. They're huge. They got different size ones though. I noticed that, like I've been to some different places that you see some smaller ones, and then they got some really big ones on the Tehachapis, man. They got some pretty easy job. I don't know, man. I used to do concrete. Concrete's heavy no matter what you do. But if you're pumping it, it's not bad. Pumping concrete isn't too bad. Yeah, they're giants. They're giant, Spun Gold. I've seen them, man. They're huge. Do you know how to buff a car out? I buffed a few car outs. Depends on how bad they are. A lot of times if you just get some, it depends on where you gotta kind of be there so you know what the situation is. But sometimes if they're just dulled up real bad, you can just get some rubbing compound. It has a little bit of grit in it, and run it with a foam I don't even know what to call it, but I have it's a directional little buffer, and then after you hit it with that, then you wipe it down real good and get some wax on it. All right, Spun Gold, take care. Thanks for stopping by. That's good money there, brother. I'd go too. Wax jobs. Yeah, that's good money. My buddy, he worked on like the gas lines, and when he was in Wyoming, man, he made good money. Thing is, I'm 61 now. I can't rent. I don't have the stamina on my back like I used to. My back's toast, man. That's why I'm trying to build something here so I don't have to keep going to work. I spent 40 years bending over, and I'm 61 years old. Batman, I got one from Harbor Freight that wasn't bad. It was I can't remember what the company was. It wasn't bad though. Go look at Harbor Freight. If you're only going to do one or two cars, it's not a bad rig. I'm thinking it's a red one, and it gosh, you think I'd remember the name of the tool, but I don't. Yeah, see, man, the money's not. You got to be careful, man. You don't want to hurt yourself where you can't get around. Somebody get you the job there, or did you just go apply? Yeah. If you don't need the money, yeah, the one I use, Batman, it was just an electric one. Well, it was pretty good. It was bi-directional, so it kind of moved around. It was, it wasn't, I forget what they call them, but there's a name for it where it doesn't make the same pattern. So it's good for like buffing. You got to be careful with those buffers though, man. You don't want to put too much pressure. You'll burn right through the paint. You got to be careful and, keep them wet. Yeah. 15 grand a month's hard to turn down though. Is that what you did most of the time, Phil? Concrete work? That's what Maggot used to do. He was a concrete guy. I haven't seen Maggot, the guy that's from Australia. I haven't seen him in a while. He's usually here like every time. I haven't seen him like in 3 or 4 days, 5 days. He might be busy feeding his sheep. He's kind of a funny guy. He's pretty cool. I like it. I did concrete. When I was 25, I was a plastering hard carrier. I don't know if you know what that is, but I used to climb ladders and stuff with this big old thing full of concrete, and then you dump it on a board. Maybe 500 cars. That's a lot of buffing there, brother. You better get you an air one. For any of you that just showed up, man, on Fridays we give away tools. So come back next Friday. We're going to give away another one of these headlamps. I've done concrete, carpentry, and ironworking. I've done some carpentry, but more, I need one long lasted. You need one what? What are you talking about? Oh, I see what you're saying, Batman. Yeah, you'd be better off with an air one then. Because those ones I'm talking about from Harbor Freight, they won't hold up to that many cars. No way. They're more for like just 10 cars or something. They got brushes in them. I wish I would have gotten an office job. I know, man. I left an office job. I worked my way up all the way from the very bottom of where I worked all the way to the fleet manager. So when I left, I was the manager, and I retired. I retired at 55. I retired at 55, and then I had to go back. Oh, yeah, at 55 I retired. Yep, I retired at 55. And then right around when I turned 59 or 60, I had to go back to work. I tell you what, man, I could have probably worked my way back into the office when I went back, but man, I just couldn't do it again. I'm just like herding cats, man. I don't have the patience. These new guys, you can't get them moving, man. I just don't have the patience for it. I'll be in HR every day. Going back in as a manager, I don't know. I think I could fix a lot of things if I was in that position, but man, it's like herding cats, man. I get tired. I don't have a good, I have a hard time babysitting 50-year-old men. Yeah, Phil. Batman, yeah, probably an air buffer would be a better option for you. Man, you're going to do a lot of buffing then, huh? Oh, I know, Phil. That's what I say, man. I work with these guys where I work. You just can't get them moving, man. Half the time you can't get them to show up for work. And then they don't do anything about it when people don't produce. I mean, when I was working in shops and stuff, you didn't produce, you got fired. They didn't mess around. If you weren't putting out work, they would come tell you, hey, it's been nice, but tomorrow will be your last day. Nowadays, man, they just keep these people that are useless. I swear, man. I got a couple of guys that, I don't know why they keep people like that. You gotta love what you do or you won't be happy. You're right. I love what I do. But man, these youngsters nowadays, and I'm not just picking on young people. It's just a different mentality than when I was working. Because I worked in the lumber mills, I worked on construction sites, and then I went to work at some big shops. And if you weren't putting out work, man, you weren't working. They would let you would be gone. They come and tell you, hey, it's been nice. Here's your last check. They had no problem telling you that. So you had to be hustling all the time. When you work in a dealership, if you're not producing and making the dealership money, they won't keep you. Why is that, Phil? What's up, brother? Why do you hate life altogether anymore? I'm telling you, man, I've been telling you, I wouldn't chase that dollar. If you got a few bucks in your pocket, go to the Philippines for a year. I'm not kidding you. If you're my son and Phil, if you were my son and you were feeling that way about life and you had a leg up financially, I'd be telling you, just go to the Philippines, man. Go. It's a different life there. People are different there. People are more friendly. It's a better lifestyle. I'm going to go. We're going to try to go in the spring, maybe, but we want to go for a week. We just want to go see what it's all about. I wouldn't move there without knowing. But I want to go there to see what it's all about. Because the lifestyle, the quality of life there is so much better than here. I mean, you give up things, but also, man, the cost to live there is so much cheaper, man. It's crazy how much cheaper it is. Like, I'm going to have to get my eye. I just went into, so I had this eye operated on a year ago. I tore my retina. So, yeah, the wages aren't great over there. If you got to go over there to make a living, you don't want to work there because the wages are real low. The good thing about the Philippines, if you make enough money that you got some kind of money rat hold or you got a retirement, you can go over there and live pretty good. I wouldn't want to go over there and try to make a living because their wages suck. Oh, yeah, the U.S. Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's hard, man. I didn't have insurance and I had to have this eye operated on. And it cost me over $5,000 cash because I didn't have insurance at the time. So now I have insurance and they told me after a year, you're going to get a cataract in that eye from the surgery. So sure in hell, man, my eye got blurry again. So I went to the doctor and said, yeah, they're going to have to take out that cataract. It's a 10-minute surgery. It's $2,500 and the insurance company is paying 70% of the bill. I'm like, how can a major surgery be $5,000 and a 10-minute surgery going to cost me $7 or $8? It's crazy. The only way I know how to make money is on the road. What do you mean about on the road? If you need to make money, man, that working in Texas sounds like a pretty good deal. Per diem construction jobs, yeah. I did those kind of jobs. I used to work, like I said, I used to do concrete work when I was about 25. I worked for a company that used to do all the Motel 6s in the United States. They used to fly us all over the United States. But I didn't do that part. They were wanting me to travel. I'm like, I'm not doing that. Nope, I am not traveling. And what they would do with us, they'd make the hot carriers drive the trucks out all over the country, man. You'd be the driver driving the trucks out, and they would put the plasterers on an airplane and fly them out. It was good money, but I had a family at the time. I'm like, I'm not going to spend months and months at a time out of town. I got little kids, man. But anyway, yeah, the money's good, but it depends on your situation. If you've rat holed some money and you got a little money, I'd go to the Philippines and spend a year. Just go take a 1 year vacation, man. I think your whole life will change. I really do. Did you go watch that guy Joe Wander at all? I watched him quite a bit, man. He's pretty. He has some good content about the Philippines. I still want to go though. I want to go see what it's about because that's what's with us right now. We can't afford to really do anything. I mean, we're doing okay, but can't afford to really do anything. You got to be working, making really good money, especially in California. I just got my water bill the other day. It was $600 for 2 months. I had them come out and said, "Man, there's no way I could have used that much water." And they just put a new meter in and stuff. So they came out and did like an inspection of the property to make sure we didn't have a leak somewhere. And they go, "No, it's measuring correctly." So my water bill was $300 a month for the last 2 months just for water. And my PG&E was my PG&E has gone down, but my PG&E is usually like $500 a month. It's just getting where it's unaffordable to live here. So I've been doing a lot of reading about the Philippines. I'm like, man, I want to go over there and see what it's like. You should move out of California. Yeah, I know that. I've been thinking that for a long time. I was actually going to do that. So I had my house sold, not sold, but I had my house on the market, and I have an older motorhome, and me and my wife was going to travel. And then she passed. She got pancreatic cancer, and she passed. So that's why I'm working now, because I lost half of my income when my wife passed away. So I had to make up that income to try to keep the bills paid. Yeah, it's unaffordable everywhere. I agree. Hey, for you guys that just showed up, we're done with the trivia for the night. We're just sitting there shooting a bull now. But on Friday nights, we give away tools. We just gave this away tonight. Off grid would be okay. Though, it's a lot of work living off grid, man. It really is. You got to deal with your water. You got to, there's a lot of things. I could be that guy though. I could live off in the woods somewhere, with 10 acres with a road with a gate across it. I could be just fine. What's your favorite Tool song? I don't know if I have a Tool song. Hey Teddy, I don't know if I have one of those. Welcome to the live though. Hey, on Friday nights, we give away tools. We just gave this away tonight. We're going to give away another one of these next Friday night at 7. All you got to do is be here for the live, and you have a chance to win one of these. It's a 1,000 lume headlamp. We gave one away tonight. We're going to give another one away next week. And then we're usually live Mondays, Tuesdays, Fridays at 7 p.m. Mondays, we're going to start trying to help people with their vehicles. So if you can say, hey, I got a car that's making a noise, or it misses, or, whatever. And we got some mechanics here. I've been a mechanic for 40 years, and there's a lot of guys here that have a lot of experience, so we'll be able to walk people through their problems. Monday nights, we'll do that. It's funny. Hey, Phil, do you notice how the algorithm pumps the live out and then it goes down? You'll see, you'll be sitting here talking, and all of a sudden there's 25 people in the room. The algorithm gives it out in pulses of over time. So you'll see there's no one, and all of a sudden there's 20 or 30 people here. That's why you hear me keep going over this, because I know people have just dropped in. They don't really know what we're doing or what we're talking about. I could do off grid though, but it is a lot of work. Off grid's a lot of work, man. Because you gotta deal with your, if you have solar, it's not bad. You gotta deal with your water, and then you can set it up, especially if you got a well, and you can set it up nice, but living off grid, it's a bit of work, man. It's no sitting back and taking it easy. There's a lot of work to do. Yeah, that's what I've always wanted to do. When I was thinking about selling this house, that's what I was wanting to do is move to the mountains. Yep, that's what I was saying. Solar and a well. You can live pretty good off grid. It's not as convenient. There's work to be done. You can't just sit and relax. There's always work to be done. Most people are trying to raise animals and grow their own food, and so there's a lot of work. Yeah, solar and a well would be pretty good. I could live like that. There's out where my daughter lives, man. There's a lot of people doing that. She lives in Tennessee. Basically, you can kind of build whatever you want out there. Yeah, that's me. I love the mountains, man. I'm a mountain guy. That's why I couldn't move to Tennessee. I went out and looked that over out there, and they have. I mean, she lives just outside the Smoky Mountains, but they don't have trees like we have. Man, in California, we got giant trees. Their trees look like bushes. I'm just not. And the coastline, that's the thing. I like to be close to the coast, man. I don't want to be a long ways away from the coast. I like to be able to see the ocean. The Philippines to me sounds like a killer deal because I don't like to be cold, man. Philippines, it stays nice and warm year round. It's got high humidity, but they got lots of coastline right on. You can get an apartment right on the beach there for like $300 a month. It's great. I talked to a guy in here, and he was from Mexico, and he moved from Mexico and he moved to the Philippines, and he says, man, he's been there 15 years and he loves it. He goes, he lives right on the beach in an apartment for $300 a month, and he was like living his best life. Yeah, it's humid, and Philippines is very humidity too. That's the way Tennessee is, super humidity, man, especially in the summertime because they get rain. In California, we don't see a lot of rain. After about June, we don't see rain until like right around now. We get like 4 or 5 months of dry weather. And in Tennessee, it rains every month. It might rain every 3 days. And then it gets really hot after it rains. It makes it really humidity. Humidity is horrible. But you get used to it, I guess. Yeah, that's me, man. I've always been a mountain guy. When I bought this house, the only reason I bought a house in the city is because I had kids. I would have bought up in the hills because where I live in Northern California, there's some nice mountains around me. You can live at 2,500 feet or 3,500 feet real easy. I live right at the base of the Feather River Canyon. So, and I ride a lot. I go up that way in the summer times on my bike. The ways you can make your own battery to power up your house. You know what though? They got some pretty good. Have you seen those LiFePO batteries that they're using in the motorhomes and stuff now? They got some companies now where you can buy those pretty cheap. I mean, they have a company called Battleborn that a lot of people use for RVs for their solar, and the batteries are like $1,000 a piece. And like on these boats, a lot of the batteries they're using on the boats now, they're like $1,000. But I seen a company recently, and you can buy those LiPo lithium batteries for like $200 a piece now. The prices are coming down on them. It won't be long that you'll be able to. A lot of houses are going to be just lithium battery powered. You've been looking at new campers? What are you looking at? I always like those Airstreams. If I could afford it, if I had the money, I'd buy me a nice Airstream. They're probably, I think, in my opinion, one of the best ones on the road for a bumper pull. If I could buy what I want, man, I'd buy me about like a mid-90s country coach diesel pusher. Yeah, that's why they have all these rules, man. They don't want you going off grid. They're going to outlaw that. You watch, because they know people are able to live on their own. They don't need the government. What kind of new camper are you looking at? I love that kind of lifestyle, man. Running around with a motorhome or a camper. It's a good time, I think. It's a lot of freedom in it, you know. Go where you want to go, stay as long as you want to stay. And that you know, working as like what do they call them? Where you're like camp host, that's a pretty good gig. I met the guy he was over on the Oregon coast right before you get to Washington, and he was a camp host over there. And he was camp hosting right on the river where the fishing was just amazing, man. He was ripping the salmon every day. And he had a good gig going on. They gave him us a wage, and then they gave him a free spot and free electricity, free water. So basically he had no rent. He was just basically paying for his food, and they were paying him a wage while he was there. So there's some of those camp host type spots, positions that are pretty good. And you just work like 3 hours a day. You get up, you go around to all the other camp, you know, and blow, you know, just take a blower and blow out and make sure the water's working and stuff. It looks like a pretty good gig. And you can get jobs into like the national parks that way too, where you get to stay like in places like Yosemite or like, you know, some of the nice national parks with a Murphy bed and some solar panels. So you want to downsize. What was the one I seen I thought was pretty good? It's called a something pod. And maybe it's called a pod. It was a really nice looking little small camper, more like for one or two people, made more like for going off-roading a little bit. And it looked really rugged, and it was set up nice. Ask everyone where the weed at. Yeah. You know that guy that comes on here, Craft Organics. He's into that, man. He has a channel where he shows all that. Back in the day, man, people used to be able to make a living just running around trimming. Yeah, they're kind of small. I'll tell you, those Airstreams are nice though, man. Check one of those out. I don't know if I buy an older one because usually they need a lot of work. The newer Airstreams, if you can afford a new one, God, man, it's like living in a mansion. They're nice. They got really good storage in them. They're insulated well. You know, they're all aluminum, so they don't, you know, they're not going to rust or pretty nice. I think if I could afford one, that's what I'd buy. I'm not really impressed with the way the new ones are built anymore. Because I used to follow a lot of RV channels, like people that are living full time in their RVs, and you hear a lot of them saying how the water tanks fall out from underneath them. They're just really low quality built. Some of the good ones are like Holiday Rambler builds a good unit, the older ones. Country Coach. What is the one? It's a bus that they make. It's not a bus, but they call it a bus. Call you Wayne. Okay, man, I can remember that. My father-in-law's name used to be Wayne. I'll call you Wayne for now on, brother. I'll try to remember that. If I start calling you that again, tell me, hey, my name's Wayne. Hey, for people that just showed up on Friday nights, we give away tools. 7 p.m. We gave one of these away tonight. It's a pretty nice little light. They're like $50 on Amazon. I was surprised how much these were. But the housing feels aluminum, or it might be a hard plastic. I'm going to keep one of them. I bought 3. I'm going to keep one. But I checked them out on Amazon. Shoot, they're like $50 on Amazon. But they give you a better battery pack on the Amazon one. So, Phil, when are you going to know about the job? Are you really serious? They are offered it to you, or you don't know yet, or what? Texas is a good place. Well, I don't know. Lately it hasn't been, but a lot of people in the RV community go to Texas in the wintertime because it's not, but they've had some really cold spells the last couple of years, man. It cost me 15,000 slightly used. Yep. That's what I did. I bought a 1980, and I freaking love that thing, man. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it. I really don't want to. It's so nice. I bought a 1987 Country Coach 30-foot rear bath gasser. It's got a big block in it. And man, it is nice. Matter of fact, there's a video on my channel. I did a walkthrough on it so people could see. I think I put it on this channel. Yeah, they all started first week of December. Yep. A lot of people they say Texas is nice. A lot of people, and it's it's not California, which is nice. I've been to Texas, but when I went, I was 5 miles per gallon. I get 7. But you know what? I've done it both ways. Like we did some traveling where we just took my pickup and then we rented rooms, for the travel. And then I took the motor home and it was the same price because what you save by not having to get a room, you spend in gas. And I like the motorhome better because I get to take my own stuff with me. I'm not sleeping in somebody else's bed. And it's fun. It's a good time. You get to, like, let's say because you go somewhere and it's really good. Like we stayed at a really nice place one time. Had the lake to ourselves. So we just stayed for like a week and a half. And let's say you go somewhere and you don't like it. Well, just get up and leave and leave the next day. Go find another place. It's kind of a freedom way of, to travel is to do the motorhome thing. You always have to worry about breakdowns, but you just want to have a little kitty for that, or if you have something go wrong, you can get it fixed. Yeah, one of the guys I work with, he's our parts guy. Well, he's not our parts guy, but he was a parts guy and they moved him up. He still lives in his camper. He's been living in his camper for I don't know, 3 or 4 years. And he says he likes it, man. He goes, it's cheap living. He's not having to pay a house payment and insurance and all this stuff that comes with a house. And he says he's taking all that money that he's saving and he's rat holing it in the bank. So when he retires, he's got a nice big old, hey, General, how you doing? Welcome to the live. We're just sitting here shooting a bull now. Got to be careful about talking to that stuff on here, guys. Just not a good idea on here. Hey, General, on Friday nights, we have a giveaway. My water bill was $300 a month for 2 months. My water bill was $600 for 2 months. Crazy. And then I had them come out and check and they said, well, I'm on track for 5 units this month. And the one they charged me for was like 69 units. I think they screwed up, man. I had a big argument with the guy out here telling him there's no freaking way that I use 59,000 gallons full of water. You'd be standing in 3 inches of water right now. So there's an issue, I got to call him back. And see, I'm going to harass them a little bit more, see if they'll reduce it or something. Buying a house is not a good investment anymore. I mean, it is in the long term because like now, I do have the value of the house, if I hadn't bought the house, I probably would have just pissed that money away. Who knows? It was $300 a month. 15-hour life was good. That's the way I was too. So I remember I was just telling my girl just yesterday, I said, I used to pay $200 a month for rent. That's what my rent was, $200 a month. And I was like you, man. I was making like $14 an hour at the time. I was doing good, and now, when I'm working part time, I'm making almost 35. Yeah, life's changed, man. I don't even know how these young couples are making it, man. How do you plan for a how do you plan for a family when you can barely? But I see them, man. They're both driving brand new cars. That's what I don't understand. You see couples and they're both got brand new cars and car payments. I don't really understand that. Why would you have two car payments at the same time? This is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And then they're renting. Be better off driving an old beater and buy a house. For what you're paying for those two car payments, you can buy a house. I'm telling you, man, the Philippines, man, it's got your name on it. Philippines. Yeah, some people are making great money, but you're paying 40% in tax. You got to be making a shitload of money to make it nowadays. Right now, if I went back to, they want me to come back to work full time, but I don't want to go back. I've worked for 40 freaking years, man. I don't want to work full time no more. So I work part time, part year. But when I'm working, like they just gave me a $2 raise. So my wages are now like 33 an hour, 34 an hour. So if I went back, they'd have to pay me like 37 an hour plus my insurance and all that stuff. But shops out here, man, a mechanic make 50, 60 an hour now. When I first started in the field, I'm trying to think of what I was making. I was working flat rate, and at the time, flat rate was 40%. So you got 40% of what the shop made, and the flat rate was like 25 an hour. So you're making like 10 or 12 bucks an hour. 100,000 a year. But see, man, 100,000 ain't nothing anymore. Mechanics at our shop now, they're making, if they're at full scale, top step, they're making almost 80. And that's working for a government agency, so you're not making as much as you would. Yeah, we get taxed to death, man. I'm trying to stay out of that. That's why I'm trying to and then when you get Social Security, if you make over $33,000, for every dollar you make, they take away 50 cents. Is that crazy? Yeah, my bill it'll go down now because it's just the summertime, because it's dry and hot here in the summer, man. For June, July, August, it is hot and dry. It'll be 110 outside. So if you have plants and stuff, you got to water. But now my bill will go down to like $50 between now and summer again, because we get a lot of rain in the wintertime. We get about 30, 40 inches of rain, about 35 inches of rain between now and June. And February, January gets really cold, but February and March, man, it rains like crazy. So we won't be using much water. That's where all our water usage was. We're outside watering, because there's only two of us living here, so we can't use that much water. Yeah, it rains a lot there. They get typhoons there. But check all the other stuff out about the Philippines. It's crazy how cheap things are. You can rent a house. If you want to live good, you could go to Manila, and you can rent a condo in a big high-rise building for $1,000 a month. And I mean, live in the high life. You can live like a doctor over there for $1,000 a month. I mean, you can live look it up, man. Go see what you can get. I think Western Mexico has the best weather, really. Western Mexico. I wish I could. Oh, let me see if I can. Oh, I can get rid of these people. I just can't. I couldn't figure out how to do a moderator tonight. I gotta figure that out. I don't know where these people come from, man. I don't know if they're just bots or what, man. But it's like as soon as they get on here, they want to make stupid comments. Puerto Vallarta, yeah. We went. I'm not rich or nothing. I want you to make you think I'm rich, but my girlfriend took me on a cruise and we went to Dominican Republic and to the Caribbean islands. And man, it was a blast. That's what kind of opened my eyes to think about the Philippines, because I was like, man, people are living pretty good here. It's not fancy like the United States. You don't have a Starbucks on every corner, but their quality of life is so different, man. Like we met this guy because we were trying to figure out what to do when we got to Puerto Vallarta. Not Puerto Vallarta. We got to Dominican Republic. And I met this guy. He was a cab driver, and we talked him into $70. He took us all over, man, all day long, anywhere we wanted to go. And that was pretty good. Yeah, I don't either. Well, I do. My girl likes going there, so I'll go when she goes. But if it wasn't for her, I'd probably never go. I drink pressed coffee, man. I like pressed coffee. Matter of fact, I had to bring my coffee in here tonight. Look. I was running behind. I was like, shit, I got to get in there. I'm going to be late. I've been trying to be on time for the lives. We had a pretty good turnout tonight. I'm just going to keep grinding away on these, man. See if we can get to where we got, 50 people in the room. That'd be nice. You know what though? Where YouTube, man, the lives are the way to go. Like we don't need it because we're already monetized. We got monetized with one video. We had a really good video that didn't go viral, but we got 280,000 views on it. So it took us over the 4,000 hours you're required to have. But these lives if somebody was trying to build a YouTube channel, this is the way to go. Because you get so many watch hours by doing the long lives. We've gained 200 subscribers this month by doing the lives. I really appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with me and doing this. It has no common sense. She's richer than some of our family put together. That's the way it is, isn't it? I got no one but myself to blame the situation I'm in. I was right after my wife passed, man. I was in a bad spot trying to figure out how to pay everything. I really was. And I got no one but myself to blame because, and when I was younger, I didn't save nothing, man. I paid my bills and whatever was left over was time to go do something with, I had a lot of good memories. I wouldn't trade my memories for that money back though. I got great memories, man. I've done a lot of stuff, My kids had a good childhood, they got to go a lot of places and do things all the time. So I don't regret it, but when you get to be 60, I've been trying to tell my kids and my grandkids, man, start saving 20% of your income now. That way, when you're my age, man, you can just go hang out at the beach instead of trying to hustle, trying to make money to pay your bills. That's why the Philippines to us is kind of a good idea because it's so cheap there. If you got a retirement and a Social Security coming in, you can live good over there. You don't have to worry about nothing. Yeah, I'm lucky that way. I still owe some, but I'm lucky that way because there's a lot of people in life I've learned that, and I've taught my children that or I try to teach them that most of my life is don't always look up at other people, man. Look down at the people that are below you going, man, look at them. They don't even have a car. Don't look at the guy and go, man, look at that big old house he has up on the hill. No, look down and go, look at those people that can't afford to put shoes on. Look at you, man. You got shoes, you got a house, you got a car. It may not be the nicest house. It may not be you may not have the nicest of everything, but you have a hell of a lot more than a lot of people have. I'd like to purchase some of your fluids either. Oh man, I don't know what it is about these people. I'll let this guy hang out, or this person. I just want to see where they go. I don't know, man. I think at a certain time of the night, man, the weirdos come out. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But yeah, I've learned that, money ain't everything, man. I know it's important to have it in life, but I wish I would have saved more. I regret that 100%, man. But, I had some failures. I started a business that did really well, and then COVID came and put us out of business. So put us in a hole, Oh, geez, man. What is it with these people, man? They're just weirdos. I don't know. You know what amazes me? People like that wouldn't say that kind of stuff to you to your face. Especially, I know they wouldn't do it to me. I try not to say that too often, but that's really how I feel. Hey, for people that are just showing up, man, we did the live tonight, and we did questions and answers, and we gave away one of these lights. And we do that every Friday night. We give away a tool. So those of you that just popped in, come check us out on Friday nights. We do automotive trivia, and then we give away a tool at the end of the live. We gave some. We'll have another one of these next week to give away, and then we just do automotive teaching. Yeah, thanks, Phil, for saying that. Like and subscribe. We appreciate it. And I teach automotive as much as I can, and then in the mornings we'll just sit around and shoot the bull about hot rods and motorcycles and our horsepower and whatever kind of projects we got going on. So that's what we do on the lives. Early morning lives is just kind of shooting a bull. And then and in the evenings on Mondays, we're going to try to help people out with their cars. Man, that's a good deal, Wayne. That's smart. It's the smartest thing you can do. I was trying to tell my grandson, if you just save $100 a month from now until you retire, you'll have 1.8 mil. And that's if you don't even invest it. That's just saving it. And then if you invest it, it can be 5 or 10. Times on. I wish somebody would explain that to me when I was younger, but I was never taught that. What's one? Yeah, I think so, Phil. I mean, if I was single and looking for a girlfriend, man, I'd definitely go to the Philippines. And it's not like everyone thinks. It's not just a bunch of cheap women over there. Some of them are just looking for a good man to take care of them. That's all. What's 1.8 million going to be worth? Yeah, who knows by that time, but it'll be better than what I'm doing. My retirement is just, it's a good thing that I worked somewhere for 25 years and I got a pension. So I have my pension, what I have in assets, and then my Social Security. That's why I'm trying not to go back to work full time. I don't want to give them back my Social Security. My wife worked her whole life, and she passed at 60, never got a dime of Social Security. And then when I filed for her Social Security, I couldn't get it until I turned 60. And then I'm going to file at 62, so they only had to pay her 2 years of all of her money that she paid into that. What a ripoff. So I'm not going to wait. When I turn 62, I'm filing. And the way my retirement works, it is a total scam. It's a total bend over, baby. That's what that is. You know, the way my retirement works is I work for PERS, which is a public employment retirement system. Is I can work 960 hours and I still get my retirement, so I can work part-time. But if I went to work for someone outside the PERS system, I can make as much as I want, and I keep my retirement. But as soon as you get Social Security, after you make $23,000, they take, for every dollar you make over 23,000, they take 50 cents. So what happens on my deal, if I work too many hours, it's like my wages are cut in half. As soon as you make 23,000, your wages are cut in half. Yeah, I wish you did too, man. I know a lot of people. I'm lucky, I'm blessed. But I put in 25 years though, at the same job every day, going to work at 5 a.m. But I know a lot of technicians that worked in the field and they got old and retired and all they have is a Social Security. Because a lot of the dealerships and all that, they don't have pensions. And that's plus Medicare comes out of it. Yep. And now you got to start paying the supplementals on all that. It's just such a scam, man. People work their whole lives and you can't even afford to live when you get old. But, some people made good decisions with their money. I wasn't one of them. Rick Berry, is that what you're paying for your Medicare? They pull that out of your Social Security, Rick? For the supplemental, probably, huh? Yeah, what a pissy thing that is. I'm just so screwed up. I was telling Phil Collins, man, I'm thinking about going and checking out the Philippines. It's looking pretty good. Everyone. So when you get your, so as soon as you get your Social Security, they start pulling that 185 out of it for your Medicare. See, that's all the things they don't teach you all this stuff until you go to get it. That's just like when my wife passed. I was thinking, well, I'll get her Social Security. That'll help me out for a little bit. That's such crap. I was thinking, well, I was thinking her Social Security will help me for a little bit until I figure out what I'm going to do. So I went and they're like, well, you can't even get it till you turn 60. I'm like, what, are you kidding me? So if your spouse passes, you can't even collect their Social Security until you are 60. You can't get TRICARE without it. Retired military. So, and you know what, man? Hey, thanks for your service, by the way. I appreciate that. Man, like you, man, retired military. Look, how many years you put in to get that, and now can barely. I see people that can barely afford to live at our ages. People working at Walmart, just trying to make a living. Yeah, you know what? For people like you, I say this all the time. It's people like you that people like us are able to sleep at night. Okay, it looks funny because it's red and backwards on your screen, but it says go big. Yeah, your wife's retired too. We're getting to that point. My wife got pancreatic cancer and she passed in 33 days, so I had to go back to work. Dang, I'm blind. So I retired at 55 because I work for a public employment agency, and I can retire at 55. And so I retired at 55, but then I was retired 5 years, and then my wife passed. So I had to go back. I went back to work for the place that I was working at, and I left as the boss. I was like a fleet manager. And then when I went back, the guys that were my crew are now the bosses. and I'm out in the shop. But I like my job. I build police cars for a living. I do a lot of electrical and troubleshooting kind of stuff. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? Yep, she had a stomach ache, man. And we were getting ready to sell our house. We have a motorhome, and we are going to sell the house and just go in the motorhome and travel all around. And she got a stomach ache, took her to the hospital. They found a mass on her pancreas, put her in a hospital, and she got an infection from them putting that pork thing in her. And she got an infection, and she passed in 33 days. Yeah, it's so crazy. Yep, it's a quick one, man. They wouldn't even tell her how much time she had. I think, in my opinion, I penciled it out. I wouldn't wait at all, man, because they'll give you all that thing. Say, oh, wait until your full retirement age or whatever. If you pencil out how much money you give up by not, so they'll say, well, if you stay till 63, you'll get another $120 a month. But if you think about that, you're going to give up $12,000 to gain $100 a month. How long is it going to take you to get that back? You'd have to live another 10 years to break even. So even most of your investors now tell you don't wait. When you turn 62, unless you're planning on working until really late, is just go ahead and retire. Yeah, Rick, you're right. That's the only way they can tell on that. There's no test they can do or nothing. And that's what they say that makes it so deadly, is because most people don't know they have it until they're stage 4. You don't feel no pain or nothing until you're really deep into it. Yeah, exactly, Rick. Exactly. You give up 55,000, and how long is it going to take you to get that 55,000 back at $100 a month? Right? People don't know how to do math anymore. Hey, hi man, let's go. How you doing? Welcome to the live. We're just sitting here shooting a bull about whatever. We had a live tonight. We gave away one of these headlamps. We're going to give away another one next Friday. For all these that just dropped in, we do trivia on Friday nights, automotive trivia. And at the end of the trivia, we spin and we give away a free tool. We're going to give away another one of these next week. Are you from Indiana? No, I'm from California. Truth hurts. I'm taking some pensions now. Just turned 62. So I retired at 55. So I get my pension, and then I get I'm working part-time, so I get to keep my income from my part-time work. And then I'll be 62 in October. When that happens, I'm going to file for my Social Security. But I'm not going to try to work past 23,000 anymore, because after 23,000, they take half of my money back. Nope, I'm not from Indiana. My friend is a jeweler, still working at 67 with a bad liver. Yeah, that's a thing, man. You don't want to work till you're dead. That's why I retired early, man. I had a situation that was going to allow me to be retired early. And so, okay, let's get rid of this dude. You see that a lot, man. A lot of older people working, and some people like to work, and they want to be working even though they're older. But, after you've worked 40 or 50 years, you should be able to retire. You put in your dues, man. It's time. I'm tired of working. I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I agree with you, Wayne. I'm tired of working too, man. I've been working since I was 13 years old. And most of the time I was working 2 jobs, But you just got to keep your head up, man. Just try to be as happy as you can be. That's all you can do. That's why I do these things. Rick Berry. Yeah, what's thing is, man, once you see somebody, you lose somebody close to you like that, you realize life's not guaranteed, man. You don't want to be waiting on nothing. If you can retire, retire. $2,000 and Choking Joe gives it away. That's one thing, man. I don't get involved in politics. I just get irritated about it. Everybody gets so touchy when it comes to politics, man. I know we're all getting screwed. I can tell you that. I don't care who's in office. It seems like we're constantly getting screwed over. 86 billion. Yeah, we're all having to pay for our own medical. I don't do politics here. It's one thing that I don't allow on the live is politics, religion, and your sexual preference. It's midnight. Hi, man. Let's go. It's midnight where you're at. It's 12:40. Are you on the East Coast? I'm straight. Thanks for telling me that, Phil. Ben, what kind of garage stuff you doing? Right now, we're just shooting the bull. I got some projects going on. I got a F-250 with a 7.3 I'm doing. And then I got a 62 Elgin boat I just picked up, and I just got that running. And then I got a little project. I'm going to tear this Predator motor down that I pulled out of this mini bike. So we do little projects like that. But tonight, we just do the lives on Monday nights. We're doing lives Monday, Tuesday, Friday. On Tuesday nights, I teach automotive. I've been a mechanic for 40 years, ASC certified master mechanic. And then on Fridays, we do trivia. We ask questions. And then at the end of the live, we give away a free tool. Last week, we gave away a snap-on wrench. And this week, we gave away one of these lights. Next week, we're going to give away another one of these. So if you guys have never been here before, come check out next week. We're going to give away another one of these. No, they haven't banned them completely. Some of the lakes you can't put they won't let you take a 4-stroke motor out on the water. Ben, the 7.3 actually is a good little project. I picked it up. I got it, man. I picked up such a good deal. It's a 92 Ford F-250, and I picked it up from the guy, and he had it back on his ranch. It didn't have batteries in it, so he couldn't crank it. So I didn't know if the motor was seized or if the tranny would engage or nothing, but the truck is clean on the inside and the body's perfect. So I just bought it. I just took a chance, and there's nothing wrong with it, man. I put a set of glow plugs in it, changed the starter, threw a couple batteries in it, and it's running. I got to do the brakes now. It had no brake fluid in the master, so I'm going to have to go through the brakes and figure out what that's all about. But it's a runner now. When I got it, it didn't run. I pulled it on my trailer, man. I got a 12,000-pound winch. I pulled it onto the trailer with three flat tires, and the rear was hung up. I thought maybe the differential had locked up, but it ended up being the parking brake was applied on that right side. But we just dragged it up on the trailer, just like it was. And so I just worked my way through it, and I put glow plugs in it and a starter, and put a new filter on it, and then I bypassed the fuel tank so we won't pull junk in. One of those soon. What do you do to those that have been sit for a while? One thing you want to do on those usually is don't pull fuel from the tank. Just bypass the fuel tank, because usually if it's been sitting for like 10 years or something like that, or 5, the fuel is junk. It grows algae in it. Diesel will grow algae in it. And so it's best just to drain the tank, pull the tank down and get it cleaned out real good. But in the meantime, what you want to do is just bypass the fuel tank, pull the line. There's a regular fuel pump on the side of the motor, just like a standard gas engine. Just pull the intake, the suction side of that hose, and just put it in a container, and then put the return line back in the tank that you're using. So just bypass the fuel tank, and so you're pulling clean fuel. Pull the fuel filter off, dump it out, look at it, make sure it's not all yucky inside, and then put some new fuel in there and just bleed it, and it'll run. I'm going to fix up my 66 Buick Skylark Sport instead of getting bullied to accept your high prices. So, Easy Money, weren't you looking at a Camaro? Were you the guy that was looking to buy a Camaro? So you're going to do your that 66 Skylark's a nice car to be fixing up. That'll be a neat little rig. Ben, yeah, I had the same problem. I think my brother. Yeah, I bet they'd love some classics over there. That's one of the things I thought about when I was thinking about going over there. I was like, I'm taking my Harley, man. I don't care what it costs. I'm going to ship it with me. I'm not leaving my Harley here. Hey, Ben, a little bit. I've worked on some Beamers. Some of the older stuff. Most of them had like they had a weird fuel system on them. Kind of like the Volkswagen Rabbit. It has a big pintle thing. I never cared for them much. I worked on a BMW. You ever heard of a 2000? A friend of mine had one. I used to do all the work on his. It's called a BMW 2000. He used to run them on our road rallies and stuff. Pretty zippy little car, man. Hey, Phil, when I was over there in the Dominican Republic, some guy come pulling around the corner in an old Chrysler, man, like a 1955 Chrysler. Really nice, decked out. I got a picture of it in the Dominican Republic. It was pretty cool. Yeah, I worked on one of those 2002s, a little boxy. They used to use them for like road rallies, like a rally car. That was a nightmare I got into on that thing. The guy came over and he kept telling me he kept blowing the oil filter off. So I was like, well, it's probably the relief valve in the fuel pump, because the fuel pump or the oil pump has a relief valve in it. When the pressure gets to a certain point, it just bypasses it and let it go back into the tank. So I told him that's not a big deal. We'll just change the fuel pump or the oil pump. So I was thinking we're just going to pull the pan down and just put a new oil pump in it. That thing, I'll get rid of this guy. That guy, that 2002, It's the craziest setup you ever seen. The oil pump sits inside the pan like this, right? It's got a chain drive, man, that goes up to the crank that drives the oil pump. So I got an updated oil pump that they made for it, and you have to drill a hole into the block for the line. It turned into a nightmare. I thought it was just going to be a real easy fix, you know? Oh man, it ended up being a freaking nightmare. What do you think about Jaguar XE? Jaguar, I'm not a big fan of Jaguars. They're expensive to work on. Most of your European cars are really expensive to work on, man. I'm not kidding you. You see Jaguars around all the time, dirt cheap. Because they're just, some of the Jaguars had a V12 in them, and they're a nice little motor, but man, they're expensive to work on. Like American vehicles now with the wet belts. Yeah, it's crazy, huh? Got a quote for a Pro Touring. Man, I seen a Chevelle sell on that Barrett's auction last couple of days. It's crazy what they're getting for those cars. Yeah, you see that all the time. I had a guy out front last night doing Brody's out in front of my house in a diesel. They're all pumped up. You know, when you see them, when you see those trucks like blowing black smoke like that, all that is unburnt fuel. They crank the pumps up real high, pressure wise, and they're just being overfueled. So they're just wasting fuel when they do that. When you see them stab it real hard and all that black smoke's coming out of the exhaust, they're just pushing raw fuel out. That's all it is. They had technology out on a vehicle that saved gas mileage, but they won't release it to the public. Yeah, Wayne, we was talking about that the other night. Yeah, that irritates me too. I've been on my bike before when somebody did that. When you're, you know, they think they're funny until you roll up to their front, until you roll up to their driver's side door. Then they're not funny no more. I understand it's cool to do, but I like hearing them. They sound good, but it is funny. Oh, yeah, that's a neat chassis, the 442. I remember those. Yep, I remember those. I loved Pontiacs when I was younger, man. I had a 71 Pontiac Firebird. Dual scoop, fiberglass front, scoop on hood, fiberglass hood, dual scoop, 400. Man, that was a fast car. What's your daily? Mine's a 97 Dodge Dakota Sport extended cab 5-speed manual with V8 Magnum in it. I bet you that's a fun little truck. My daily driver that I drive all the time is a 99 Ford F-150 with a 5.4 in it. And it's been a great truck. I bought it because I got such a good deal on it. And then I got a 71 Chevy C20 custom camper. And then I have a couple Harleys. And then I got that diesel now, that's 92 F-250. Yeah, Pontiac made some nice cars. I had a Tempest when I was a kid, man. That was a nice car. The reason I bought that F-250 is I'm going to make that into a tow rig. Because I don't know if you guys know what an IDI is. So Ford made a 7.3 that's non-turboed, but it's also mechanically injected, so it doesn't have a computer. There's no computer in this truck. It's all mechanical fuel injection. And they're kind of dogs, as far as speed. Like, you're not going to run it at 90 on the freeway. It won't do 90. but it will pull 30,000 pounds. I mean, and it'll go for 1,000,000 miles. Those 7.3s are incredible how many miles you can put on them. I mean, if you're building a truck to tow something with, there's no better motor than that 7.3. My dad is 87 Mazda. Got it with 40 just for $500. Just needed brakes to be unstuck and some small rust hole work. Hey, those are good little trucks, man. I had a customer that had one of those Mazda pickups. That's a good truck. Easy to work on too. 47,000, that's like nothing. Mazda made some good motors, man. I'm not kidding you. I had a Mazda GL something. Man, that was a good car. Mazda had some good cars. They really did. That B2200, that's a little pickup, huh? 5 miles a gallon. It's better than some Edgar in a T35. My favorite car I ever had was my Nissan, man. I had a Nissan 370 Nismo. That was a bad car, man. Yeah, those Mazdas. I had a customer that had one of those, and it was fun. It was easy to work on. I remember I did a water pump on it, and I did some valve covers and stuff. Ben, what kind of Nissan? She told it. Is she okay? Before that, I had a 70. Yeah, Super B is hard to find. Had a 73 Chevy C10, 3-speed on the column, regular cab, long bed, 250 half ton. Yeah, that's what mine is. Mine's a C30 or a C20, so it's a heavy half ton, but it's the they don't call them country or camper special. They're calling them custom campers. There's not very many of those custom campers around. I did some research, and they're saying there might only be like less than like 1,000 left in existence. So I'm gonna hang on to it probably. Sure, those diesels you can put tons of miles on them. Unlike most gas, you might have 350 turnover. Yeah, to auction like the unit is. Yeah, Elijah Dobbs, man, those. I'm really impressed with that 7.3. I used to hate them because I had to work on them all the time where I worked. But man, I just I fell in love with that 7.3, man. That's a bulletproof motor. Those diesels. Oh, let's see, Carl Anderson. Carl Anderson, that's a nice car. That's a nice truck, 73. Mine's a 71, but it's a C20. She's driving my car and they're driving her old BMW. Just an Altima. She's fine. All good. I had a 2014 Nissan 370 Nismo. And man, dude, that car was a rocket ship. Naturally aspirated, but man, 350 horse. Doesn't sound like much, but in that car, it didn't weigh nothing. It was fast. C20s are long beds. Well, C20s are also not a half ton. They're like a 3/4 ton. Mine's what they call a heavy half ton. It's got heavy duty rear end in it, heavy duty front suspension, disc brakes in the front. So yeah, a heavy half ton is actually like a half ton truck with a 3/4 ton suspension. You can haul a lot more in it. That'd be fun, Wayne. 50 Merc. I like 50. I like them old 50, early 50 Mercuries. My C20 is a long bed, by the way, but it has if you look up the heavy half tons, the C20s, if you look at the suspension on them, They're a heavy duty rear suspension and the front suspension as well. They're a heavier chassis. 97 328i, 5-speed pre-solid. Land yacht lovers. Hey Ben, do you know what a land yacht is? They actually make a motorhome that's called that. It's called a land yacht. I'm trying to remember who made it. I can't remember now, but it's a pretty nice motorhome. It's called a land yacht. 12 bolt, yeah. It's got a big heavy duty rear end in it. It's got the original small block in it. It's original. Everything on it's original, man. 100% original. The only thing that's changed on that truck is somebody put a Grant wheel on it. Still has a point ignition in it. Still has the original cigarette lighter. It's in really good shape. I almost sold it here a while back, but I'm glad I hung on to it now. Because I did some research and they only built that camper special. It's not a camper special. They call it a custom camper. And they built them for the slide-in campers in the 70s. So it is a long bed. But they only built like 4,000 of them. They only built them from like 71 to 73 or 4, right in there. And I'm trying to remember. I think it's 456 gears in the back. Yeah, it's 456 gears in the back. Easy money. If I remember right, I'm pretty sure that's what the rear end is. It's a 456 gear rear end. Really low geared. Good truck though, man. I've had it I paid $1,500 for that truck, like about 15 years ago. And it's a daily driver. I can go out there and fire it right now and go use it. I usually was keeping it around just to use it because I don't like to keep it registered if I'm not going to drive it. I got so many trucks, I can't drive them all. 2 stars, I do that in my spare time. Yeah, it's kind of what I've been trying to do now. I just pick stuff up and I like to wrench on stuff. I like to keep wrenching. It's fun. I don't know. Some people think I'm crazy, but I've been doing this for 40 years and I still enjoy it. I just don't like punching a clock, man. I'm tired of punching a clock. Why can't GM make anything after 08? Well, all the new cars are crap, in my opinion. I work on the brand new Ford F-250s and 350s, and in my opinion, they're junk. I mean, just the bodies and all the panels and the plastic and they're just like that old Chevy I have. It's a 71, right? I can go out there and go like this and close the door and it goes clunk. It's got all the original latches on it. Those new trucks, man, they're just junk. Yep. I think that's what it is. 456 gears in the back on that Chevy. And it has power. It's got power front disc brakes on it. So for a 71 truck, I'm trying to think if any of them had drums. I don't remember now. I know my Ford didn't, but my Chevys did. I wish I could, man. It just costs so damn much to run a shop anymore. I think most of those 5 liters, the 5 liter, the 5.8, the 5.4, I think they're all good motors. We've had a bunch of them in our fleets and we haven't really had any trouble with any of them. That 5.4 is a remarkable motor, man. We've had a fleet of those because we have a whole bunch of Expeditions that are police cars, and those guys flog those things hard. And we've never lost one of those motors. I mean, they're bulletproof motor. I always get antsy when things don't ship. Easy Money, was that recent? We'll have to look that up. They just came out with something that's 1,000 horse. Ben, I've heard, I've fixed some of those. They don't happen a lot, but it does happen. It's an easy fix. You're right though, Ben. I've seen a few of those blow the plugs out. They got a tool, man. You just go in there and you re-tap it and you put an insert in. It's a pretty easy fix. But you're right, they do that. I've seen them maybe, but we have a whole bunch of them, man. I've only seen maybe 2 or 3 do that. 2 valve versus 3 valve, big difference. Yeah. Mine's a 99. It's pretty amazing what good condition that truck that I have is in. It's a 99. And it's only has it's got like 140,000 on it, and it's got the 5.4, but a good motor, man. Hey, Christian Bridges, that's right, or go home, baby. You got it right. Go home, go big or go home. The tranny on the I'm thinking they're E4OD if I remember right. Yeah, you're probably right, Ben. I think mine's just a 2 valve per cylinder. Yeah, we're looking into getting some merch for the hats. We're gonna set up a Shopify store and put the hats in the merch store. Easy Money on the trucks. I think they're just a standard E4OD, and that's the weakest part of those is that tranny. We put a lot of transmissions on them, but usually only after they got like 150,000 miles on them. I'm in California, and then the Crowns they just use that stain. We had a whole fleet of Crown Victorias. Now they're running the Ford Explorer. But then now we switch from the Explorer to the Tahoe. The cops like the Tahoes better. Those are great stories, man. I love that stuff, Carl Anderson. That's why we spend a lot of time here on the lives, man. Everybody has a neat little story about. I remember them old Chevy Grumman step vans. It has a funky seat that mounts in it like an old bread truck. I fixed a lot of those seats over the years where those things have broke loose. That's good stories when you think about being in that when you're a kid, huh? Hey, Ben, I'm in California, Northern California. They do that all the time here. The diesels, I don't think they put a lot of effort into like the diesels, like the gas stuff. Because some of the stuff is still, I forget what the year is, but some of the diesels are still exempt. Like that 92 I have, it's smog exempt, which is cool. I can do whatever I want to it, and it doesn't have a turbo on it. They might. Who knows, man? You never know what they're gonna do. They banned gas lawnmowers here. You can't buy a gas lawnmower now. Anywhere you go, you have to buy an electric mower. They don't sell gas mowers new anymore. I was just in Home Depot today and they had a riding lawnmower and it's electric. Crazy shit. I have electric mower now. Cows with it, and then would go camping. My mom, sister, me, and my dad. My dad would clean it out, and we would go camping. That's a pretty good story. I love that. Time to move. Yeah, you ain't kidding, Ben. I know, man. My daughter lives in Arizona. They got some pretty open laws in Arizona about stuff. They don't have smog. You can just run. You can do whatever you want. I've thought about going that way. It's hard to beat California, man. It's got the greatest weather anywhere you'll ever live. And I'm the biggest sissy in the world when it comes to being cold, man. I don't like to be cold. Electric mower that worked great until it got 90 degrees outside. The batteries would last at all. I have an electric mower. It does a pretty good job, actually. But it's just you can't buy anything that has a gas engine on it now in California. A weed eater, a mower, a freaking edger, anything outside related, it's electric now. They regulate headers and engines for classic pre cars. Who does? Easy Money? Who's regulating for 1975, pre-75, yeah. They're talking about, California, you're right. They're talking about, there was a bill that they were trying to get passed, and it's called the Jay Leno bill. And they were trying to move the date up to 1980. Yeah, some of the electric stuff's okay. It's just weird that you can't buy gas nothing anymore. Well, the problem with the mowers and all that stuff is the new gas. Yeah, that's what I heard, Easy Money. Hopefully they'll bring it back. They were talking, I was looking for stuff, man, because I was like, man, if that passes, all these old, mid-80s trucks are going to be worth buying. Because now they're just sitting around. Nobody's doing anything with them because you can't get them through smog. But if they was to pass that, you would have seen a lot of stuff, man, that would have been able to be picked up for dirt cheap on those, like from 78, 79, 80, 70, everything from 75 up would have been a gold mine. I was hoping that it would get passed because I was like, I'm going to start buying everything I can of those from 75 through 80 because they're going to be, you can be able to put whatever you want in them, do engine changes and all that. But yeah, I heard it got shot down too. Hopefully they'll bring it back. Yeah, 75 to 85, all the way to 85. Could you imagine if they did that? How many 75 to 85s are sitting in people's backyards and they're just sitting there because they can't get them through smog? They're not worth putting any money into because they have to be smogged. Move to the southeast, old vehicles don't rust out and it hardly freezes and it's cheap and no smog. Southeast, Ben, where are you talking about? Southeast, like where? My one daughter lives in Arizona. I've looked at going there. I've thought about going there. Arizona's got some good vehicles, man. They don't, like you said, they don't rust there. Really, you guys don't get the rust even though you get all that humidity? My other daughter lives in Tennessee. Man, I remember the Monte Carlos, you could pick up a Monte Carlo for like $400. My brother-in-law used to be into them. I'm surprised. I would have thought that the humidity creates a lot of body rust and stuff. Huh. Yeah, my one daughter, she lives in Greenville, Tennessee. I went out there, but man, it's like they get some weather out there. I mean, they get tornadoes all the time. And then it's humidity. The humidity is really high in the summer. Just keep the metal off the ground. Really. I was thinking about that with Arizona, because when I was out there was all kinds of stuff you could buy. And the bodies are like perfect, man, because it's dry out there. They don't get no weather. And I don't know why, but all the hot rod stuff in Arizona are cheap. I thought about that. I was like, I should be going out to Arizona and buying stuff and hauling it back to California and selling it. They're like half price compared to here. No, Wayne, you can't buy any gas. You can't buy nothing with a gas motor anymore in California. Not for yard equipment. Not in California. I don't know about the riding mowers, but I know I was in Home Depot yesterday and the riding mowers were all electric. There was no gas. I've seen a lot of cars out there and I haven't seen hardly any rust at all. Big block in a Monte Carlo, man, that'd be fun, huh? Monte Carlo has real nice lines too, man, from the back, the way the trunks are, and the back, the way they curve. They have a nice body style. Really nice body style. I like some of the old Plymouth too, like early 60 Plymouths, like the Barracudas and the Cuda. I'd love to have like a 70 Cuda. That'd be like one of my favorite cars to own. A 70 Cuda, I think, is probably one of the nicest cars you could have. They're hard to find that they're not all tore up though. All the Dodge big block stuff is, man, they started buying that stuff up years ago. Go see Old Car City Junkyard in Georgia. Really, what's that all about, Ben? My buddy, man, he had a 68 Charger. He spent years building this thing, man. Had a big block, had a 440 in it. He redid all the fuel lines to 1/2 inch, put a fuel cell in the trunk. I mean, it was just ready to go. And they had a big fire and he lost it, burn up in the fire. Let my grass grow tall and live like a hermit. There you go, Wayne. Yeah, I think that's probably the Chrysler stuff, in my opinion, is some of the nicest hot rods. I mean, for me, if I had the money and could buy whatever I want or build whatever I want, I'd probably build like a mid-70s Chrysler with a 440 in it. Those things are like crazy, man. Crazy power. Really? So they sell them? I mean, are they for sale or they're just to look at type thing? 34 acres. Are they open to the public to buy stuff, or is it just like, I might have to go to Georgia? They quit selling them, really. They're sitting on a gold mine. They see what's happening with the industry. Did you guys watch the Barrett's car auction today and yesterday? Man, they had some crazy cars, prices on that. It's funny because you'll see some of these cars and you're like, man, they gave that thing away. Then other cars, you're like, wow, got 125, 150 grand for a hot rod. Yeah, they're probably smart by doing that. All those cars will be worth millions someday. '68 Chrysler 300. Man, my buddy, he had all kinds of Chrysler stuff, man. He had a couple GTXs, he had a Duster, he had a couple Chargers. What else did he have? He had like 10 like mid 60s Chryslers, complete cars. And I tried to tell him years ago, man, you just sell some of this stuff off so you can finish your other stuff. But he's like, nope, I ain't selling none of my Dodge stuff. I'm going to keep it till I'm in my grave. And he had a box in the garage one time, and I was looking at it and I was like, Joe, I said, do you realize that those tachometers are worth $1,000 a piece now? He had like the tachometers that mount up on the hood on the old Dodges, the factory tachs. He had a whole box of them. Probably had like 10 of them in there, 10, 15 of them. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, Ben. Anyway, he had all that stuff, and freaking fire came through, and he lost all of that. Lost his shop, lost his car, and he had a junkyard in his back of his property with like, I don't know, 30, 40 cars in it, and half of them were old Chryslers, old Dodge and Chryslers, and they all burn up, man. Every one of them. He lost all his parts. It was sad. '39 Plymouth Business Coupe. That's a nice car. Yeah, they could, man. What's sad is when the fire came through, we was only like a week before it rained. And man, it came through, and it freaking, in this little town where I'm from, they lost 85 lives in that fire. I was a fleet manager at the time for the county where that fire was at. So I was in charge of all that stuff, getting all the cars moved out of the road and hauling all burn up cop cars and stuff away. It was a nightmare, man. Right after that, I retired. Messed up his tranny on 60. I call them. The tranny gears were backwards. First is now reverse. They were no shift conversion kit. Ben, how this fire that came through, man, it came through like high winds, real low humidity, and a lot of fuel. And the fire came through like 80 miles an hour, man, just burned up 30,000 homes. Yep, paradise. Yep, I don't live far from there. I was a fleet manager in charge of the public works when that happened. Yeah. A lot of the guys I worked with lost their houses, and it was a nightmare here, man. There was no homes. There was nowhere to rent. You couldn't find a house to rent. Yeah, it was bad. They lost 85 lives in that fire, though. It was crazy. Every day the count went up because I was involved with the police department, so they were going out and doing all the body recovery. And they come in and said, we got 10 today, and then another 10 and another 20. And they found people just lined up in their cars, man, all burned up in their cars, couldn't get out. No, they had, the problem with the fire was where it was at. It was in a very steep terrain and high winds. And I kept asking them too, why don't they just go and dump water? Why we don't have planes dumping water? And the guy from CAL FIRE told me, he said they can't dump water in high winds over the fires. He goes, because the winds over the fires are about 300 miles an hour. So they couldn't go in, and so when the sun went down, they couldn't make dumps. And then, it was all hand fighting the fire. And all the fire was burning uphill, like come up the hill at 80 miles an hour. And there was only one way to get out of there. So they had, you had 30,000 people trying to get out of somewhere on a 1-lane road with one way out. Yeah, I lost some friends in that fire. Yeah, it was horrible. It was bad. No, because they could pull water out of the river. The river's right there. They had helicopters running. It was just they weren't even fighting the fire. They were just moving people out of the way because the fire was like unstoppable. It was just like there was no way. They were just getting in front of the fire and moving people out of the way. Yeah, there's some things that made it, but man, there was a lot that didn't. But you know what? It's recovered, man. You'll be surprised how it looks now. I mean, it'll never be like it was. Because it used to be like giant trees through Paradise, big old huge 300-foot pines, ponderosas. There's none of that now. All the big trees are gone. And we've had some giant fire. Well, that fire, I don't know if it was a Paradise fire or if it was the Bear fire. It burnt 900,000 acres, almost 1 million acres, man. 75 square miles burnt. Yep. They do control burns, but not like they need to. The problem is like, everything is overgrown and dry, and we don't get near the rain we used to get. The rain has slowed down. We had a real long drought here a while back where we had a drought for like 4 years. Our lake was so low. They said if we had one more year of water drought, that they were going to have to start rationing water. Some of the intakes on the lakes were sticking out of the water. They had to move the intakes out to get to the water. I mean, they were almost out of water here. I mean, really, they were to the point of we couldn't water it on certain days of the week at all at your house. Like you were only allowed to water like Mondays and Fridays. No, that's the problem is, we used to do a lot more burning than we do now. And then all the underbrush gets, I'm worried about these areas that burn, because what's happened now is all the trees have burned off, right? So now there's no shade. So what's happened now is all the underbrush after the fire has been gone for a couple of years now. What year was it? It was like 18? Yeah, it was 18 when we had the fire. Is all that underbrush has grown up now because there's no trees to block the sunlight. When it used to just be like big trees growing, now it's just like underbrush really tall. And so now all that underbrush is like a lot of fuel now. So if they get another fire, it's going to be worse than it was before. You're right, man. We have a water issue here. That's a fact. Like I said, if we wouldn't have got rain that one season, they wouldn't have been able to pump water out of the lake anymore. There's a huge forest fire. All the firefighters concerned about his camps, they would put water on camps first before fighting fires. What they do here is they only protect stuff that have fire breaks around it. If you don't put a fire break around your house and they come in, they won't even try to save your house. There's no saving it, man. They won't waste their time being hired because we got this, because so much. You're illegal now. My father-in-law has a 1920 something T-Model. It's ugly, needs to be restored. Those Model Ts are pretty reasonable. You can pick those Ts. I've seen Model Ts for like $4,000. I mean, they don't have a lot of value for some reason. They're neat though. I've always liked them. Well, guys, I'm gonna have to call it a night. I got a big day tomorrow, and I appreciate everybody coming to the live tonight. And if you would, shout out the Friday night live, and then remember on Tuesdays I'm gonna be doing some teaching. So if you guys are interested in that, come check out. And what do you guys think about Monday nights doing just like I was thinking about doing question and answers on Mondays. where we just take questions from people that have problems with their cars. How about 1940? All right, Carl. Hey, thanks for your subscription. Appreciate that 100%, man. 40s. I like all them old 40s cars, man. I'll take any of them. They're just so cool. I love them. 40 Ford Deluxe. It's like a businessman's coupe kind of thing, right? All right, man. I'm gonna bail. You guys have a good night. I got some stuff I got to do tomorrow, so I got some editing I have to do tonight. So anyway, hey, thanks for everybody that's showing up tonight. Thanks for everybody that gave me their subscriptions, and we'll keep after it. We're gonna keep plugging along. When I go back to work, I'll be doing these lives early in the morning. All right, brother. Take care. We'll see you next time, okay? Take care, everybody. All right, later.